What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and I'm back. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody who support me in this platform, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. It's very much appreciated. We are back here, Sunday Night Heat. I appreciate everybody who responded to my community post. Um, I'm back, of course. You know, I deal with things just like everybody else, man. And my brother just had to, take a break, fall back for a little minute, you know, and I'm back tonight here, Sunday Night Heat, open panel, open discussion. Shout out to everybody. If you're tuning in, make sure you hit the like button, press the number 1 in the chat so I know you're here. We're going to get the show rolling in a minute. I'll be sending the link out and we can get it started, man. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Hope all is well. Shout out to my brother Constructive X. Shout out to Mike Brown. Appreciate y'all, man. I know y'all been seeing the shenanigans lately. And like I said, man, it's only it's only gonna get worse before it gets better, man, because at the end of the day, this is how this is how us as black people, this is how we get along with each other, you know? This is how we get along with each other. Sad, but it just is what it is. What's going on, Mika 32? Welcome, good to see you. You already know that, Mike. Stay at an all-time high, man. Stay at an all-time high. And some people just don't some people don't like when you have an opinion on what's been going on. Some people feel like you ain't got the right to talk about shit. And that's another problem within itself. When you got people who think that they the only ones that could speak on shit. That's that attitude is one of the main reasons why we don't get along with each other. That attitude. People looking at people like they don't got the right to say certain shit. This is some type of this is some type of way of showing they got power over you or some silly shit like that. What's going on, Pretty Apple? The shit is just hilarious to me, man. But this is what you got going on. You know. But definitely, I appreciate y'all, man. Stay tuned. I will be having some uploads dropping. So y'all stay tuned for that. But what's been good with y'all, man? How was y'all weekend? Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely, man. That's why for the most part, I give my opinion, over here. Cause I understand, how YouTube work for the most part. That's how you properly respond to someone on your platform. That's the best way to respond. You feel me? Yesterday, YouTube was dead. I mean, for the most part, it really wasn't dead, bro. BGS was live last night. That shit was crazy. A lot of shit went on over there last night. Shout out to BGS. You know, so it really wasn't dead. If you was tuning in to BGS for men, it was popping. Oh, you went fishing? That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, you off the next 2 days? All right. I ain't see you in a little minute though, Mike. What's going on, Mike? What's good, man? What's going on with you? Oh, you like fishing too, Mika? Oh, you love fishing, huh? Oh, you been around? Uh-uh. It's not. It's no left. It's none left. It's none left. It's gone. Oh, you went to the beach too? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I like outdoor activities too for the most part. I like camping and shit like that. Yeah, you can have 'em. Go ahead, go get them. Take two. Yeah, I definitely like camping and shit. I went hiking too. I used to go to like sleepaway camps when I was young. Man, I've been working and shit, man. Working, you know, just going through shit, life shit, man shit, you know, family shit. That's all it's been, bro. Ain't no beaches out there, Mika. Y'all don't got no beaches. So wait, y'all gotta come. Y'all gotta go to Myrtle Beach to find a beach. Oh man, what happened? They just put you out the Walmart, bro? What happened? Camping in the backyard with the kids is fun too. Yeah, I never tried that. Only Lake. Oh, Savannah. Yeah, that's some hours from you too. Nah, I ain't get caught, but oh, okay, okay. no doubt, bro. I appreciate it. You not messing with the lake. Y'all don't got no pools though. I know y'all got pools and stuff. 2.5 hours. Yeah, cause you in Atlanta, so yeah. Cause Atlanta is 8 hours. No, 10 hours from where I'm at. Not even. No, my bad. Not even 10 hours. I'm bugging. Atlanta from me is like 6 hours. Cause it's gonna take me 4 hours to get through South Carolina, and then once I hit Georgia, it's gonna take like 2 hours maybe to get to Atlanta. Cause most people don't know. North Carolina and South Carolina is big as hell. It take 8 hours to get through both of those states. 4 hours for North Carolina, 4 hours for South. And then you in Georgia. And then after Georgia, you in Florida. So, but yo, let me know if y'all want to get on, man. I'll go ahead and open the panel up, and we could have a little conversation. Let me know. Y'all just let me know if y'all want to get on. I'll go ahead and send y'all the link. I know that's why you probably don't be wanting to go back to New York. Where you moving to, Mika? How long you been in Georgia? Ready to move already? All right, cool. How long you been in Georgia though? Only 2 years and you ready to move? Come on now. 2 years and you ready to move already? Yeah. Shout out to BK Hammer. Thinking about moving out west? Prince O'Mill, what's good? It's expensive out west, Mika. It's expensive out west. Ready to pay that bread? Living out west is like living in New York. Expense wise. Very expensive to live in like LA and shit like that. Unless you talking about like moving to Vegas or something. Yeah, Vegas not that bad. I lived in Georgia 8 years before. Oh, okay. Oh, so you moved from Georgia to New York and then you moved back. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard Vegas not that bad. One of my homies is trying to move out there. He was telling me the same thing. I thought you was talking about Cali though. Yeah, man. And C is cool. That's a fact, Prince Omel. Cause you could live, man. You could live good. What's good, Grinch? Mega Montana was good. Oh, that's why you moved back to New York. Okay. Everybody say they bored though. You just gotta. I mean, how often do you get out, Mika? Because a lot of people be saying that, like when they move to the South, they say they bored and shit, but it's not. It's not really boring. You just gotta find shit to do. Especially like now that we all grown, man, you gotta find shit to do. See, exactly. That's why. So of course you gonna say you bored. You you probably want you a little boyfriend, Mika. Let me find out you want you a little boyfriend. Talking about you bored. That's cold language. I know. I know that cold language, Mika. Talking about I'm bored. You want a boyfriend. That's what that is. You want some you want some male entertainment. Talking about I'm bored. I know what that mean. Xander, what's good, man? Yeah, don't laugh. No, I know. Nah, she don't want to get cuddled, Prince O'Mel. Nope. No cuddling. Don't want to be cuddled. It's still summertime. Ain't trying to get cuddled. Exactly. This nigga Mike crazy. Nah, she just, she just want that male. Yeah, she's not saying anything. Yeah, don't yeah, she's not saying it. Of course not. Deep in thought, what's good, bro? She just want her homeboy, right, Mika? You want you a homeboy. She wants some companionship. You ain't got no homeboys, Mika. Cut it out. You got dudes you call your bros. You know what I mean by homeboys. That's my friend. You know what I'm talking about. One of those homeboys. Yeah. Talking about she got homeboys. No, she don't. She got bros. Friends. Niggas that's in the friend zone. Those are not homeboys. Those are bros. It's a difference. Why are you dying for? Nah, they call homeboys, Mike. That's what they call them. That's my homeboy. She know. Right, friends. What's the difference? Cut it out. Cut it out, Mika. You know the difference. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put the link out. Let's come up here and let's talk about that. Cause you fronting right now. You are fronting right now. Let me see. Put the link in the chat room. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Why you shaking your head for? If you come up here, you don't want to talk about it, whatever. But you know what it is. Yeah, the link is in the chat. Anybody want to come up and chop it up? You're welcome. You're all welcome. You tuning in? Share the show. Open panel, Sunday Night Heat. You just gonna chop it up and have fun for a minute, y'all. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. Oh yeah, take you to the store joint. Super Trez, what's going on, bro? Respect.
Respect that you sleep. Sheep stay sleep. What's going on?
Man, I'm chilling, man. What's good?
Yeah, man. I'm on my grind right now, and I saw your live, so I thought I'd check in with you. I didn't get a chance to see the entire Sunday Rumble. I saw a little bit on my way to work, and I don't know. It seems like seems like some same cyclic arguments that never really get resolved
Mm-hmm.
because people continuously try to uh, place blame on somebody else, and I think there's blame on every side. You know, when we look at some of the behaviors, I think there's a shared accountability.
I agree. I agree with that. I sure do. I definitely agree with that. I just think, for the most part, man, I think the problem is the lack of communication, the lack of proper communication. You know, everybody's not really saying how they feel. You know, people keeping things to themselves, or people running back and just congregating in a little group and saying how they feel when they're not really putting it out there. And but to the public, it looked like everything is on the up and up. You know, and that's how we get what we have now. This whole domino effect of, you know, this shit just keep going on and going on and going on because a lot of stuff was held back. You know, that's why it's not good to hold stuff back, man, because you get an atomic bomb. But it's a lot of friendly fire, man. It's friendly fire.
But see, that's the issue. That's the issue when you talk about the friendly fire, because this is why people are kind of hesitant to really open up and share their thoughts because of the potential scrutiny and sometimes to the point of ridicule that they receive. You know, um, but I think a lot of times the ridicule can be justified because people who, I won't say everybody, but there a certain constituency of individuals will voice their opinions with no intention of actually finding solutions. They just want to rant and whine and complain. And I think that's what makes the difference between whining and complaining is if you're actually making complaints with an attempt to find a solution, I can respect it. But if you're not actually solution oriented, then it's really just a waste of time in your posturing.
Facts. I agree with that. And I see that. I see that too. I see that. But I think for the most part, what we seeing now is just um a lot of emotion is coming out. It's gonna be a lot of anger. And I feel like once it get to a certain point, then I think it'll be a little more logical. But my solution is, man, I feel like people should just stay in their own lane and just do their own thing. Because at the end of the day, man, it just seems like to me, everybody who act like they was cool with each other was really down low competing with one another.
Facts.
They masked unity, competition with unity. Like, oh, we're together, this is that, and it just came out in the end like we're really competing with each other. We're really trying to see who gonna make it to the top first. And when when that when that aspect gets involved, man, it becomes dog eat dog. And that's what we seeing.
So when we talk about the community and collectivism and things of that nature, you know, is it far fetched to even conceive a collective? In the actual literal sense of the word, when we look at the optics, we can't even get the optics right, let alone the functionality of a collective. And like you said, the true sentiments are shown because even if there is some type of conflict, there's certain boundaries that don't get crossed, and there's certain things that just are just not said unless you've already had those sentiments for a long time and just didn't say them. It's almost like if I said, you know, sheep, I don't like your beard, you know, and but the whole time we've been rocking together, I never said anything about your beard, and it was all good, and we done went to the barber shop together. You get your hair cut, then I go to my barber, get my hair cut, and you going to get your beard edged up, and I never said anything. But now that I'm upset with you for whatever reason, now I start saying I don't like your beard, I don't like your shape up, I don't like your car, like all this stuff that I didn't like about you. And it's like you probably thinking like, well, damn, you been feeling this way the whole time. And then I start telling your girl, like, yo, that nigga beard is whack. You shouldn't be talking to somebody with a beard like that. Then you gonna be looking at me sideways like, damn, this motherfucker been thinking this way the whole damn time. He just never said nothing.
Yep, yep. And that's when people start swinging for the fences. Once you feel like that, it's like, damn, oh word, all right. So what you saying is true. And to answer your question, I did a stream a while back called There Is No Black Community. A lot of people talk about that, but I already, debunked that argument, with describing what a community is and what it entails. And we don't even have the basics down pat. So the community at this point, no. I think it's just gonna be what it always been for the most part for black people. It's just gonna be a bunch of pockets or little subgroups of black people that's going to attempt to do things for other black people. And that's just what it always gonna be. It's never gonna be this mass movement of black people who's going to be all on the same page with the same agenda and who's going to execute, one way. That I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
Well, I've been on YouTube. Actually, I was on YouTube many years ago, but my content was a lot different. I wouldn't even really consider myself a content creator. I was one of those idiots on YouTube like maybe 10 years ago when YouTube first came out. I was the one that was showing videos of me speeding and street racing and stuff like that. That was me back in the day. That's what I used YouTube for. And so then I came back to YouTube, actually I got drawn to YouTube looking up, videos about just cars, and then it kind of branched off into investments, and then I started seeing videos about, kind of red pill type videos, and then I saw some videos with Tom Likas, kind of hilarious, then you kind of find your way, trickle. Different people take different routes to finally get to the quote unquote black manosphere, and even within the black manosphere, you know, as soon as I got there, I saw differing ideologies. And when I first actually began, speaking on panels and things of that nature, this was early on. I said it repeatedly on various panels. I said, you know, the objective should be to find, a common ground. You have to formulate an actual. You have to find a common ground to rally around, and use that to formulate an objective. Because the first thing I noticed was that the discussions, you know, there really wasn't an overarching objective. It was people complaining, but nobody really was making solution oriented arguments, and they weren't attempting to formulate uh, something to rally around, something to bring people together. Like, despite all of our differences of opinion, this is the one thing we can agree upon. And finding that, looking for that, because again, like you said, there's always going to be differing factions within the quote unquote collective. But those different factions have to find a way to come together, because when we look at the population distribution within the United States, we represent a small constituency. When you look at the entirety of African Americans and African people of Negroid descent, so this includes Caribbeans, people from the African continent, uh, and things of that nature. So when you look at all of those factors, we still only account for about less than 13% of the population. So as a fractured group, we can't expect to invoke positive change or change that we want to see for our own community when we're fractured the way we are. So there has to be an overarching objective that we can all agree upon if we ever expect to make progress. But we are allowing division to come to interfere with a realistic goal of actually advancing the entire community. We can actually make an advancement, but we have to compromise and say, okay, I know we disagree upon this. I know, I disagree with you because you have a white wife. I disagree with you having a white wife, but I understand that as a black man, you've had a similar struggle as me, and we can agree upon this one thing. This one thing being, say for instance, we agree upon that we should be getting reparations, or we agree upon the fact that the treatment or the disposition towards law enforcement to black people in the inner city is deplorable. We can agree upon that. So whatever that thing is that we can agree upon, let's come together on that. We could be separate on everything else, but let's come together on something that we all can agree that's important, and we can change that. We can change things one at a time, but we can't even do that. And see, that's why when I hear people say they scream about the collective and pro black and all this other stuff, if you was really that pro black and you was really that about the collective, you would be willing to make a compromise for the greater good and say, okay, yeah, I know I don't agree with you on this, but let's come together on this. But nobody's willing to do that. So until you prove to me that you can make a compromise and a sacrifice, you're not pro black to me. Compromise on something and make a sacrifice on something that you don't want to make a sacrifice on. Do you make compromise on stuff that you think is easy? But like, I want to see somebody pro black get together with, who was that guy that donated that paid off those guys' student loans? that black guy, Bob Johnson, whatever his name is. Like
Robert F.
like
Williams.
like I want to see somebody pro black collaborate with him. Collaborate with somebody like Tiger Woods. Somebody who's your polar opposite, but still is considered a black man or black woman. That's a compromise. And that's the type of example that we need within the community and say, hey, we come from different walks of life, but we can come together on this. That's what we need to move forward.
I agree with that, bro. I agree with that. First, before I go into that, I'm gonna welcome Mika 32. Welcome, and I, I totally agree, and I feel like what we have to compromise and sacrifice is our own um our own desires that is based on vanity. We have to begin to really look at what it is we really want and what we really desire. For the most part, a lot of these pro blacks, they desire a check. They just desiring, they just finding and using the whole pro black thing as a hustle, as a way to label themselves to receive sponsorship or money, because it's money in saying you're pro black. Look at the Tariq Nasheeds of the world. Look at the quote unquote HOK. Look at this. So you're gonna see and have other people that's gonna come around, and they're gonna want to capitalize off of this because it's profitable. And for the most part, that's really what I think why the drama doesn't stop. Because really, people are jockeying for position because they want to be the head honcho, because they want to get the biggest payday. Or they want to receive a payday and not share it. They don't want certain people to um to have access the way others do. Because there's a lot of people that got big platforms. As you can see, what was brought up about them appraising the Black Manosphere and how much it was worth. Now, if you had three heads, when the money came, the money would have had to been split, correct? So notice how once that was put out there, notice how the beef started. The beef ignited. Once they started talking about how much the manosphere was worth, and they talked about trying to clean shit up and all of that, slowly but surely you seen the beef brewing. And that is because you're gonna start to see people's true colors. And you can start seeing, people who were saying they wasn't pro-black, now they're saying this is, this is the white man's platform, and all that silly type of talk when they wasn't talking that shit before. All of this shit is entertainment and money based for a lot of people. And if they're not willing to sacrifice that, then we're gonna continue to have what we have, which is the shit show. And people invest into the shit show because even the shit show is profitable for certain people. It's profitable to see us act crazy and to do what we do. People like it. Just like people tune in right here on YouTube, our own people outside of the YouTube world, they watch that. And they like to see us partake in it. So this is what we have, man. BK Hammer, what's going on, bro?
What's good? What's good, man?
Chilling, man. You want to chime in?
Man, I've been around here for a minute. First was piece of the panel, but been around here for a minute. I watched this go up and down and up and down. And what people don't realize is what actually, in my opinion, what happened is Cynthia G was like BGS said, was the last of the Mohicans of that resistance. And it was she was bumping around and throwing out words, and she just kept making these phrases. So a couple of dudes asked her a question: "What is a beta male coon? What is a beta male coon?" and she couldn't answer it. Then she got drug into the panels. Everybody kind of got collective after that point. Everything was fine until your man Taz showed up. The energy he brought into the conversations, which is what he wanted to do, was interesting, but he would just come in and try to elevate it to somewhere where it didn't have to be. If you notice, the men on this panel are talking at a certain level. That's how we talk. Taz don't talk like that. He come in and try to incite something, and that's what he do. And he good at it. But it got in between people, and some of us noticed it, but other ones didn't want us to cut him out because I guess money. I don't know what the deal was. Till finally he went too far, and he started ruffling feathers. And when he got at BGS, that was pretty much the last straw. I don't know if anybody really seen that. But there was a little thing going on between him and being BGS, and BGS was asking him basically to show his work. And Taz kept saying, I made a video about it, but everybody ain't seen the video. You right here live, speak your piece, say your piece. And he wouldn't do it. He just wanted to pick at BGS. It became apparent that he wasn't there to be intellectually sound and to make a point. He basically was there just to pick at BGS. That's what irritated a lot of people, and that's what got certain people really up in arms with him in the beginning. They didn't like that. I didn't like it either. It was very disingenuous of him. Taz is a smart guy, got a lot of good content over there. Problem with Taz is he likes to pick at people, and there's a place to pick at people, and then there's a place to be intellectual, to bring some uplifting to people, bring some knowledge to it. Don't just be disconcerting with people. Say what it is. We men here, right? I could take a punch on the chin. Say what it is. Let me deal with it. If it knocked me down, I get up and do it all over again. It don't really matter, but just say it. Don't try to be condescending when you say it. Don't put that little feminine spin on it. You know, that part I didn't like. And I spoke on it, and I spoke to, well, I just left a comment to Grinch about it. Grinch agreed. But I was like, that was crazy what he was trying to do to BGS. BGS ain't even that type of dude. He don't come in here for no back and forth or trying to out thug nobody. BGS is an intellectual. And he gonna deal with intellectual. If you give him some intellectual, he will honor it if it's intellectual. He'll tell you, I don't know, or I didn't know that, or that's interesting, bring me more. Anybody who's got some extra to bring, BGS will allow you to come in there because he's about information, period. But when this guy come along, he's more about being confrontational than intellectual. And she, like you were saying, there's a lot of things I watch. People don't watch because I don't get on panels so often. What goes on in the chat? If you watch the chat, you would know what they was doing over there the whole time. You could watch them saying stuff because Nala don't hold no punches. She don't hold nothing. If she got something to say, she gonna say it, and she'll say it right in that chat, and people just look over it. I noticed it a long time. I'm like, why is she saying these things? Then it became apparent once everything blew up. And now, if you watch what they're saying over there and what they're doing, you'll see what's going on over there. I mean, I don't really go over there much anymore. I try to stay out of it. If I hear them going back and forth about what's going on between the two factions, I opt out. But if there's some content she dropping, because she do got some good content, I could deal with that. But that them trying to pit back and forth and trying to call this one out for that, and this one is angry. Angry man is who he is. Period. You don't like it, don't deal with it. Don't talk about him. Just don't deal with it. I don't know why that's so hard. And there's a lot of common ground for a while, but I guess the common ground wasn't good enough. I guess it wasn't good enough because now we don't have common ground. We got people who want to argue every day, all the time. It's crazy to me.
I mean, as far as that go, I think, and I spoke about this in the video in one of the streams. I feel like they gotta they're making a concerted effort to go at Angry Man because they don't want Angry Man as one of the leaders of the Manosphere. They don't want him part of the big three. They don't want him to get none of that bag that they was talking about. You know what I'm saying? That happened. You
They
know,
ain't
people
they
cut you out the bag.
they ain't never like Angry Man because Angry Man pulls their coat. A lot of women be butthurt behind what he says because he pulls their coat. You know how women are with you say something about a woman and they give you the all argument. Not all women, but that's a big problem. And he been giving his content. Angry Man got some crazy content. His stuff is deep. He can't even keep it up there, but he got a lot of stuff that calls out a lot of women on a lot of things, and they don't like it. And they sit back and take the punches. But here was their chance to punch back at it, and they did. And they couldn't get him. They went after everybody around him. They didn't care who. They didn't care who. That's the part I didn't like. It was reckless. If you don't like what's going on with somebody, then stand up and say it. Be straightforward. Shoot straight. You doxing people and trying to flag channels down and all that. What is all of that? We not grown. We in the playground. We grown people. What are we doing? You know what them people doing over there. And the thing is, it costs all of us. We watching this back and forth, wasting our time with them arguing day and day the same points about each other. Come on, man. The other thing is cutting people channels and they can't even keep the content up, which is what I came for, the information. If I can't get to the information, I'm Patreoning everybody because I need to get to the information. But it should be simple stuff. It's on YouTube. It should be able to be just left up. We shouldn't be under here undercutting each other. We black folks have been undercutting each other all our lives. When are we gonna stop? When are we gonna stop? It makes no sense to me. It's really annoying. It's very annoying for grown people to be back and forth like this and to try to prove something. But just give content on something else besides each other every day now. We done that part. Can we move on to something else? It's I don't understand it. I'm from up north. Well, I'm from Brooklyn. I get annoyed very easily at certain things. Okay,
Fact.
and I don't play around with a lot of this back and forth, this girly shit. I see Angry Man call people out all the time. I'm not calling nobody out. We can meet up. We ain't gonna meet up. I'm not out here to prove nothing because people ain't coming. Like you said, there's people on YouTube, and then there's YouTube people. Man, you ain't never said nothing more real than you said that shit right there.
That's what it is, dog.
You
That's
know
really what
exactly what
this
I'm
shit
talking
boiled
about.
down to, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, man.
when we see it coming to life, man. That's really what it is. Mika, what's going on, baby girl? You want to chime in?
Uh oh. Uh oh.
No, not right now. I'm just listening. That's
Oh,
good.
okay, okay, okay. Mike, what up, Mike? What's good?
Yo, what's good, man?
What's good,
No,
my
I
guy?
was just waiting or whatever. I had to, wait for my chance to time in and shit like that, man. You hear? Yo, we done found out who slept Minister Nap or whatever, man. Yo, the nigga name is Keon from Chicago. You hear me?
Jesus. What is going
Yeah.
on? Oh my
This
God.
nigga name is Keon, yo. I don't know exactly if he works or whatever, if he's a panhandler on the street. I don't know who he is, but I know I know a nigga like the Grinch said that nigga welterweight or featherweight of the world right now because he slept that motherfucker minister naps. This shit funny. That's his name, man. Minister naps because he was baptized by the concrete.
God.
I guess.
Yeah, man. That shit was ugly, man. That
Oh
shit
my
was
god.
ugly.
Yo,
And
now Hassan Campbell talking shit too.
he's another one. He another one that keep lying. He said he don't wear wife beaters, but
Yeah,
we
right.
done found pictures with him in multiple wife beaters. Now today he says he only wear wife beaters when he going to the gym. Like, come
And
on, God.
then today
Come
he
on,
talking
God.
about he just got out of the hospital and shit like that because he got out of a car accident. No,
Right. No,
some bullshit he talking about,
knowing
man.
he went to the hospital from that concussion when that head popped up off that
Yeah,
ground.
that's what made him go to the hospital, man.
Right. Right.
That nigga went straight to Jesus, straight to heaven.
You know they called
He had a near death
Wow.
you know they
experience,
called the
man.
ambulance for that man for
That nigga
sure.
had a near death experience. He needed to do his testimony so he could save
Facts.
souls because he had that near death experience.
That's why he started the church.
Yeah, he saw hell and then he saw Jesus and shit. He told him to go back and preach a
Nigga
good
need
word
nigga need
after he got
church
knocked
after
out.
that, man.
Yeah,
You feel
for
me?
real. Like he do got the church with her, but like he need the street shit just ain't for him. So just like he needed to take the street out of the church and just go to real church, like the Creflo Dollar shit. You know what I'm saying? So
That's real. That's that's real shit, man. It's not.
for
That's
real.
why it doesn't pay to come on here and talk tough, man. Because look at what can actually happen to you.
Nah, but I
You
never seen
know?
nobody get knocked out by a bum though. Like that, I never seen
Nah,
that.
bro. We from New York, man. We from the town. You know,
I
our,
know.
our
Oh yeah, yeah,
fiends. We got
yeah.
warrior fiends, man.
Nah,
Fiends
but this is
warriors,
Exactly.
Chicago,
man.
man.
Niggas push cars for 2 blocks.
Exactly.
Hey, for real. Yo, he should
Exactly.
have gave him that quarter when he asked for him that quarter. He
Nigga
probably
lift
went up to him and be like,
nigga
"Yo,
lift
let me
a
get a
car
quarter," and then
engine.
he'd be
Damn.
like, "Yo,
Nigga lift a car
nah, I
engine
ain't giving you a quarter."
for a bag, man. You know how that
Yeah.
go. Lift
That
a
nigga didn't
whole
give him
That's
the
car
right.
quarter,
engine.
man. Yo, he's just like, "Yo,
Just give him a
Minister Nat,
towel. He'll
man,
lift a car
let me get
engine.
a quarter so I can get some food." This nigga like, "Man, nah, man, be cool, man, be cool." This nigga just like, "So you gonna give me a quarter, nigga?" Yeah, that's what you gonna be like.
Now
Nah.
you know what happened, Mike? You know what happened? You know what happened? This what happened.
Yeah,
He what he tried to do was he tried to front on the wrong crackhead. See, a lot of dudes
yeah.
be thinking, "Oh, he a crackhead. I'ma just do what I want." He don't know.
Mm.
He don't know that back in the day, Keon used to knock niggas out.
He was another
You know what I'm
nigga.
saying? Keon used to knock niggas out before he
he,
started
had,
smoking crack.
he had to do that
You know
testimony,
what I'm
but he trying to
saying?
lie
And
about the testimony that he
cause
didn't
you
get
cause
knocked
cause
out.
when you heard niggas in the background like, oh, Keon just knocked another nigga out. You heard
Yo,
him.
he just like,
Oh my God.
So
just
that's
knock that nigga out.
so
Yeah,
his mans know that that's what Keon do. He put
I didn't
niggas to
know that
sleep.
nigga. I didn't know he was that. Yo, I didn't know. Like,
You
I
feel
think that
me?
nigga just weak, man. Like, yo, I think, yo, the
Nigga
nigga
said,
bad
"Oh,
built,
Keon done knocked another nigga out." Like
but then
Oh
another one
my
bites the
God.
dust.
he should have gave him that quarter,
Yo.
man.
Playing with
That's
crack,
why I
you
said.
can't do that. Like this is what I try to tell people, and that even ties
And
in
he
with
do
this
look dangerous,
YouTube.
man.
That even ties in with this YouTube shit and how people like to talk down to other niggas, talking about who people are on YouTube and how small they channels are. Like
Real.
you
Now
better
he the
study
minister of
your
conscience.
opponent. You better study your opponent before you wage war, man, because sometimes you think people are small, you know what I'm saying, until, that's like a
Yeah,
bear. You never know how big a bear is till it stand up on his two
that
feet.
nigga did not wage no war.
So, you feel me? Yo,
That
somebody
nigga did
I
it.
think that's you, Mike. You got static in the background?
Yeah, I'm walking around or whatever, going somewhere, trying to find
Oh,
a
okay.
spot, whatever I could talk. But yeah, that nigga did not go to no war. That shit was the quickest shit I ever. Boy, he not one hit, man. That shit was like one hit a quitter
Well,
from motherfucking the goddamn Fight Night round 3. Remember that video game, man, when the motherfuckers got knocked out and it was slow motion and shit like that?
yeah. Damn, fam. You took it back on me.
For real,
Damn.
yo, I had to go back like because they had a video on this motherfucker get knocked out. I had to go back and like because it looked like he got like that Street Fighter shit. You remember that Shoryuken, a Hadouken and shit like that? That's what he got, man. By that one hit, and then he wanted to come in with the Hadouken, and then he wanted to, like the left one was supposed to be a Shuriken too. So,
Oh wow. Oh my God. This nigga getting roasted. He getting roasted.
that nigga, yo, that nigga on that motherfucker, he king of concrete right now, man.
Oh.
This nigga motherfucking king
Hey
of
man,
concrete,
look.
man. Minister
Look.
Naps of Chicago, man. He making Chicago look bad, man. You can't get knocked out by a panhandler. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you ain't supposed to be. You ain't supposed to be standing that close to no man anyway.
Yeah.
You standing that close to
Facts.
some man like ain't nothing gonna happen. You
Mute
gotta make
yourself,
sure ain't
Mike.
nothing gonna happen.
Mute yourself, Mike.
Okay, we
That's
don't do that in
that's
Brooklyn.
crazy.
We don't do that in Brooklyn.
Yeah, man. That's. I mean, I was looking at that too. Like,
Yeah, you don't.
I don't see grown men doing that. You know, I thought we do that when we was kids.
Right. You don't do that shit. We know better than that dumb shit right there. And he paid the price for it. Paid the price, the ultimate price. Everybody see it over and over now.
Mm-hmm. And this shit is just gonna affect his. This shit is gonna affect his life because you know he depends on his YouTube reputation, and the video is fucking with his YouTube rep. You could tell every time he get on camera now. He looked defeated in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He try to sound like you know this is some shit that's made up, but you could see it. Go ahead, Super Trez.
Oh no, I ain't got nothing to say
Yeah,
about that. I don't got nothing. I mean, according to him, it's just some guy that's running around in Chicago that looks like him. That's what he said. I don't know. You let me know who from Chicago around here. Let me know.
Hey, bro,
Is there a
like,
Minister Jap look alike and sound alike running around
yo, they
Chicago?
gotta be like, is that his long lost brother or some shit like that? Yo, is it like related or something? Yeah, look exactly like Minister Nat. Sound like the motherfucker. Like
that's the
he got the
problem. Sound like
same type. Yeah, he got the same type head as the motherfucker. They both got like that extra
See,
cocaine head,
and yo,
coconut head.
that's the key right there, BK. That he not addressing in none of his
no.
responses. He's not saying that doesn't sound like me.
Yeah,
He
he ain't said.
already.
He
Go ahead,
really
bro.
ain't said nothing. He really ain't said much of anything. Like he hasn't really come out. If he really want to stand on it, you ain't even got to take a video down that you standing on about something like that. Leave the video up. Just speak your piece about it.
But you
We
guys are
grown men.
forgetting. I think everybody on the panel is forgetting. When we look at that video, right? We had two strikes. We had the connection to his actual mandible, right, which caused an actual blow, emanating force from that jaw upwards towards the cranium. Then he fell back. He hit his head, the back of his head. So anybody knows anything about trauma, you have what's called a coup counter coup phenomenon. That's where the actual brain bounces within the interior of the cranial cavity. So his brain hit the concrete, it bounced forward, hit the front of the brain, and then bounced back, hit the back of the brain a third time. So he probably doesn't even remember this incident. I mean, I'm being honest here. Like he
You
probably
mean
has
to,
no
you mean?
memory of this
But hold
incident,
on. You mean to tell me ain't nobody there was his people?
Yeah,
huh?
you still hear the static? Yeah?
Ain't nobody around there can confirm this is him or not
No,
besides
no, no,
him.
no, no, no,
It
no,
was more than just them two dudes there.
no. But what I'm saying is that
Yeah, I
he
got you on him.
he doesn't
You right
remember.
about
No,
him.
no, no. I think it's pretty obvious. Everybody has seen the video. They've heard the audio. We can kind of draw our own conclusions about who we think that is in that video. But from his perspective, he probably don't even remember the incident. I'm gonna be honest. He probably don't remember that incident at all. He probably woke up, maybe in an ER. He might have woke up, he might have woke up on the ground. He might have woke up in somebody's car or in somebody's arms, and somebody was crying and holding him and saying, please don't leave. Please don't leave me.
Oh my God.
You know, and so he woke up, whatever. Think about it, right? Like I don't know if y'all did this when y'all was kids.
In the
Like,
arms of the angels, looking ass nigga.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I know when I was a kid, right? We used to play choke out, and where we would choke each other out and wake up and don't know what the hell going on. Like you wake up, you're kind of confused,
Facts.
And so like that's what I did when I was a kid, So I'm thinking about this, right? You wake up and you in somebody's arm, people standing around you holding candles, you know, Somebody got a photograph of you when you was younger. They talking to the news saying you was a good kid and you never did anything to anybody. And people marching around with stop the violence signs. You wake up and you see all this stuff going on around you, and you don't know how long you've been asleep. The last thing you remember was waking up and getting breakfast, and 6 hours from your memory is gone. And so now you see this video, you like, that ain't me.
Yeah, that nigga woke up trying to get to work and shit like that, straight out the concrete. He thought he was drunk. I think that's what he thought, man. He thought he was drunk, so he woke up out the concrete and shit like that, and made up a fabrication that he got a brother or he got a homeboy that looked like him and shit like that. That got knocked out by Keon, the crackhead boxer of the nation. But
that's a good analysis. That's a good ass point, Super Triz, because me and my homeboys, we used to play that too. We used to play the knockout game, and one time they put me to sleep. And when I went to fall, they couldn't catch my big ass. I ended up pushing them out the way. And I fell and banged my whole face on the ground. That's what woke me up. That's what woke me up. They thought I was dead. When I started moving, they was like, yo, they was all happy when I got up. And I was like, yo, what happened? I was like, yo, why my face? I'm like, yo, why my face hurt? And they told me what happened. I don't even remember what happened. So what you saying is a fact.
But see, listen, think about this, right? He probably woke up, right? News cameras around or whatever, right? And people talking to the press, talking about, yeah, he was a Minister Jap, he was a good kid, and then he wake up and they're like, oh my God, he's alive! It's a miracle, right? He wake up, his pants wet. He don't know why his pants wet. He got he got mush in the back of his drawers, the front of his drawers wet. Think about this, right? Like this, you don't remember nothing, and you wake up, you got mush in the back of your drawers, the front of your drawers wet. People talking to the press, people talking to the police, and they got to stop the violence rally going on around you.
Yo, then they knocked him out in the old age.
You've been asleep that long.
Then they knocked him out in the old age.
Obviously, he gonna deny that that's him. He don't know that's him.
That nigga hit the wall as soon as he got hit by that nigga.
Yeah, man. Like, listen. We gotta leave Minister Jeff alone. He don't know that's him. He don't know that's him.
I'm pretty sure that's him, man. Like, yo.
No. He don't know that's him.
Oh, he don't know. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I said we gotta leave him alone because he don't know that's him.
He gonna learn today.
Yo, that's crazy. That's a good ass point though, man. Cause he probably really don't know that that's him. Like,
nah, he don't
he's really that lost.
He don't remember
I never thought of it like that.
Damn, he knocked brain matter out that boy.
That nigga knocked the memory out of me, man.
Exactly. There you go. Knock the memory out of this.
Yo, it's like
that nigga to a next life.
That nigga didn't even know what job he was working at. He don't know who he is. He don't know his name. He think his name really Minister Jap.
Now he a pastor of a YouTube church.
Yo, they think that nigga named the Minister Nap. Nah, yeah, Pastor Nap.
that boy got resurrected.
For real. Yo, they did something to his brain, man. His brain.
He a new man, man. But see, that's why you can't be. It don't make no sense to be doing all that mouthing on here, man. I look at a lot of this shit. I look at it. I give my critical analysis, but I also make fun out of this shit too, because really, that's really what it is to me. It's comical, especially when people start talking tough and throwing threats out there and like that. Come on, man. We can't play that kind of game. That's taking it to a whole nother level, man, that nobody really want to go to at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, the end result of this internet tough shit is somebody gonna end up in jail. Really? That's what's gonna happen. And none of us, nobody really want to go to jail and catch no case. So all of that tough talk need to just exit. If you feel like you gotta talk tough, then you might as well just bow out. You know what I'm saying? Like all that trying to be tough and rah rah, and man,
I
you just
agree.
You
need
gonna
to
get knocked out by Keon. Talking tough, you gonna get knocked out by Keon, man.
right. Then you get knocked out by a
That's what
nigga who
motherfuckers
pump gas.
explosive. For
He
real.
he pump.
Give him some gas.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Keon pumped his gas.
yeah, then you
Keon
get
pumped his gas. Jack probably gave the nigga $5. He probably was like, yo, come on, man. You gonna give me $5, nigga? I pumped your gas. He probably started mouthing. Next thing you
for
know,
real.
Jack got out the car and he was asleep. You know what I'm saying?
But see, you know what though? In all fairness, Keon could have been one of them. You know, because you got different types of vagrants, right? You got the vagrants that get straight to the point. Yo, you got $2 you got 35 cents. You know, you got the vagrants that actually something like that, and they be like, and then you got the vagrants that be like, hey man, you know, hey man, what's your name, man? Like you look familiar. And then they'll play that game, and then they'll be like, yeah, man, you know, I lost my job, man. And they go in this long story, and they'll take up 30 minutes of your time if you let them. And them be the ones that be kind of annoying. I ain't gonna front. Like when they start talking that long, like, listen, I ain't got time for all that, man.
But
And
I
so
watch
now
your
this is how
videos all the
situation like
time.
that could escalate.
That's a
Situation
good
like that
point.
could escalate.
Yeah,
Bro, I
yep.
watch your videos all the time, bro. You know, you can help your brother out. I'm subscribed.
Like that.
Yeah,
It could have
yeah, but
went like
okay,
that
but
too.
if you're gonna ask me for something, just get it out. Don't go into no long ass soliloquy. I'm not trying to hear all that. If you're gonna ask for some money, ask for some money. I don't want to hear this whole preamble to the Constitution story.
Hey,
Right.
That's
yo,
what pissed me off.
nobody
Right.
wants to find Keon, man. Keon, the big man on this
Keon,
YouTube right
Keon
now,
probably
man.
was like, yo, man, you know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm just trying to talk to you, black man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. We
You know,
brothers, right?
be
We
cool,
brothers.
black man. We two black brothers, man. Be cool.
No, you
Jack
be cool.
turned around,
No, you be
nigga, you
cool.
be
Yeah, man, we
cool.
No, you
cool.
be cool.
Uh-huh.
What do
Good
we
night.
do?
Keon told him have a good night. Keon told him to have a good night. You know what
No,
I'm
you be
saying?
cool. No, you be cool.
Sent him to the the Motel 6.
That nigga sent him to the whole nother universe, a whole
Holiday Inn
nother
Express
dimension, man.
his jaw.
That nigga end up in the twilight zone, in the concrete on the floor, man.
He gave that nigga a complimentary breakfast.
For real. I told you, concrete the nigga best friend now. After that shit,
Oh my god.
concrete. He go be a rapper now. He gonna be Minister Naps.
He a
No,
rapper
you be
too.
cool.
He is a rapper though. He is a rapper.
Yeah, I know. Like he used to call
He
himself
was
Jap
rapping
City.
today.
Now it's Nap City.
Wrapped his face.
It was Jap City. Now it's Nap City.
Sam, what's good, bro? What's good, Sam?
Yeah, Nap City.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's up? What's up? How you
What's
guys
going
doing?
on? Man, we
Nap
coolin',
City.
man.
Yeah, you guys talking about Jap? Man, I heard some shit last night. I heard he got snuffed by somebody, man.
Oh, hey, hold up. Hey, not to cut you off. Somebody in the chat said they selling "You Be Cool" t-shirts.
Hmm?
You be cool.
Man, that
Get
sounds like
some.
my slang right there.
Yo, we need to
That's my
wear them
ending on my
nigga.
videos right there. You
We need to
guys
wear
be
the nigga
cool.
pants too. The mechanic pants.
Damn.
You need to wear a wife beater or whatever. Like you need a whole
I
holiday.
need in on them t-shirts right there, man.
You need a wife beater and a mechanic shop pants or a bus
Wow.
driver pants. So you could, we could be Minister Jap for a day and pretend like we're Minister Nap too. Like we just go up to a nigga like, hey man, fuck you, and just just get hit. They just get end up on the floor and shit like that. It's really for Halloween. Yeah, that's something right there. Just
But yeah,
go around.
let me just say this real quick, man. As far as the whole, this whole pro black shit, because I used to be pro black myself. I was pretty much raised to be
Same
pro
here.
black. My family is part of the Nation of Islam. My whole mother's side of the family, damn near, is Nation of Islam. So I was raised to be pro black. And what I realized is that for the most part, man, most of these pro blacks are just white supremacists in blackface. If they ever had a chance right now to rule, they'll rule the same way the people that they complaining about is ruling, because they don't know what to do. They don't have a plan of action. Like Super Triz was just talking about. What is it that we're gonna actually
Mm-hmm.
do? You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm gonna do a
Mm-hmm.
stream about that. If white supremacy ended today and we had a chance to rule, where would you start?
Motherfuckers wouldn't
And
do
what
shit.
role would you play? You know what I'm
Motherfuckers
saying?
wouldn't do shit, man, because it's too much hard work. It's too much hard work.
Exactly.
I was
We
just
don't know
talking
how
to somebody
systems are
about this
ran,
shit,
man.
about a lot of these YouTube niggas. Hold on, Shorty want to talk.
No, I was just going to say that I basically agree. I always say I don't support supremacy. And I feel like a lot of what pro blacks, not all, but majority of them that I happen to come up on, they're preaching supremacy. And I really don't believe nobody is better than anybody else. And then again, I look at what they do. Half of them are not even moving the way they talking. So it's like, what's the point? I feel like they just it has to do something with money or something like that. I don't get it. Cause a lot of them are scammers. You know what I'm saying? They just not moving the way they talking and they selling a dream, I feel, to black people, in my opinion. So I really don't see the point of them. I think if you're black, no matter what, you should be pro black because you are black. But then to go the extra mile and just I don't know. I don't know how to put it. The violence that goes into it. I feel like every black person isn't a fighter. Every black person isn't going to go out there and stand in the front line. And that's just what it is. So it's like, yeah, what is the end game? What is your goal? What is your solution? And what works are you putting out there? What are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Like
they
this
can't.
is
They
like
can't be doing a
network.
whole lot of work because they steady on social media platforms. And they not showing the work that they supposedly doing. It's all talk and rhetoric as opposed
Mhm.
to true action. And when sheep stay sleep talk about you know what are they gonna do once they actually rise to power. See, this is the problem that I find now. Even now, you know, before you actually get to a position where you're actually controlling things, you have to mentally prepare yourself and actually, socioeconomically prepare yourself. So you should be making sacrifices right now. People can't even sacrifice for their own family, for their own lineage, let alone sacrifice for a collective. Because you have people right now who have kids, right? And still they living like they're a single person. They're not putting away money or trying to invest in business, trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to set their children's up so that way they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to start from ground zero like they did. They're not making those sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about like an actual collective sacrifice where you're actually sacrificing people yet you don't really know. Maybe the people look like you, have some similarities as far as culture and appearance, but you don't really even know them people. So you're supposed to sacrifice for them, and you can't even sacrifice for your own kind, your own flesh and blood. Like how does that even sound? I mean, like, let's be honest. Like when you talk about revolution, that requires work, and a lot of the real work is starting from ground zero. Like people talk about Africa, right? And going to Africa and rebuilding and starting there and stuff like that. Don't nobody want to go to Africa and put in that real work that's necessary to get Africa to where it needs to be? Because there's no infrastructure there. You got to start literally from ground zero. Now, there's greater rewards to be reaped, but that requires hard work, sweat, equity, and sacrifice. People are not willing to do that. Like,
And we're
like, like,
American.
like,
We
like
got
me. I
everything
look at me
over
on the
here.
job, right? People want to leave work early. They want to come into work late, calling in sick. They find any excuse not to put forth the work. Now, then they'll try to make an excuse why they don't want to work. Why I'm working for the man. No, you working for yourself and for your kids, your lineage, so that way they ain't got to work like you did. But see, people constantly make excuses to not actually rise to the equation because they want to put the accountability on somebody else. They want to look to somebody else to do the work, but they want to take the actual accolades for it. They want to get the pat on the back because they want to be the spokesperson, but they don't want to actually do the work.
Yeah, because you know, talking is the easy part. And see, my platform, what I talk about, the work I talk about is the main work I think we need to do is the inner work as individuals. We need to work on because like I was saying earlier, man, a lot of this stuff, a lot of the beef and the drama stem from jealousy, envy. This is stuff that sit within people. And
True.
if we don't rid that stuff out of ourselves, working together will always be a futuristic thing. It'll never be something that we work on now because we'll never get to that point because what's gonna keep us away from that is those things, those same things, the jealousy, the envy, the competition between one another, the the big eyes and little U's, all that type of shit, man, is gonna keep us from actually focusing on those things you was just talking about, Super Triz, because those things plague people from within. And this is why I say we gotta heal before we build. Because we trying to build on faulty ground. We trying to build on sand. We can't build on sand.
And I think the best thing that blacks can do for the collective is put themselves at the bare minimum. This is all you gotta do. Just put yourself in a position where you're not a burden and you're not an embarrassment to the community. Just do that.
Mhm.
Just do that.
When you're not a
Like,
problem or a burden to the community, right?
that's it.
Okay,
Just do
all
that.
right,
That's
all
enough.
right.
Now, there's other people that are gonna do more. That other people
Mhm.
that are gonna rise to the occasion. But if we can at least get the masses to the point where they're not a burden to the community, they're not taken away from the community.
You see, this
Like
is the thing right here, man. And I don't want to rant on with you guys. I was just talking to real life about this, right? Me and her, we were just talking about Black YouTube, and um, she was like, "Well, a lot of these motherfuckers on YouTube she don't respect, and the reason why she don't respect them." And I get it because a lot of people are just focused on the issue. The black community is like this. This is why the black community is the way it is. And there's no fucking solutions to this shit. And like I said earlier, it's hard work. A lot of people don't want to do the work. Everybody's talking about this whole Ray Ray and Pookie shit, and it's like, oh well, I can't get the guy because I can't get the girl because Ray Ray and Pookie got, or I can't get the girl because the educated lame don't want to fuck around with black women and all of this. And it's like we're never gonna get the respect as a collective people unless we do it for our fucking selves. We're a few generations behind right now. I'm getting on the problem. Okay. So the solution is this. Yeah, we need more businesses. We need to work on building our own media. So that way we don't have to worry about sisters running around here with weave and shit. And I know it sounds repetitive, but a lot of motherfuckers ain't doing it because they're so clouded by white supremacy. You know what
Yeah.
they're
I'm saying?
calling a doctor.
A lot
Exclude
of niggas
yourself
can't
from
even
white
change some tires.
supremacy. It doesn't matter if you in the hood and you trying to, just be different. They got a lot of motherfuckers who are going to hate on you. You got to have
Yeah.
a strong arm. How many of y'all own firearms? How many of y'all legally own firearms? I hear silence. I hear
A lot of a
five
lot of
seconds of
niggas
silence.
a lot of niggas can't even change some tires or
Oh,
whatever.
oh, I
So
live I
you
live
And
in a
know,
that's
state
another
where
thing.
it's
How many
legal,
of you
so I
yeah.
got a
motherfuckers
feel.
own tools? How many of y'all got tools? How many of y'all got a nice set
Mhm.
of tools? How many of y'all got a fucking toolbox?
They probably don't know what a screwdriver is. A lot
I
of them.
have a toolbox.
Oh,
My
you
mom
do?
got a toolbox.
I don't have
Now
any firearms, but I mean,
Oh, of course
my
I got
next goal is to go and get
we
my license and
Mhm.
train. But that's my whole thing with that whole situation when we talk about, people owning firearms and situations like that. I want to go back to what Sheep said. Cause first of all, I don't think you need a lot of these niggas walking around with firearms. You understand what I'm saying? Because we still got to deal with ourselves individually and our mental health. I think for a lot of the issues that the quote unquote black community have is dealing with mental issues. And if we're
all
not
right.
working on that, that's like
Think
one of the hardest things to work on.
Yo,
when you
yo,
really think about it.
check it out, sister. All right. So, would you agree with me that Ray Ray and Pookie has illegal firearms? Would
Who's
you
Ray
would
Ray
you
and
agree that,
Pookie?
huh? Would you
Who's Ray
agree
Ray
that
and
the
Pookie?
thugs in the street? Would you agree that the thugs in the street got guns?
Some of them.
All right. Do you believe that these men are highly aggressive? Is your
Some of
man
them.
highly aggressive?
Some of them.
Some of them,
You
right?
got, yeah, you got a lot of the quote unquote Ray Ray and Pookies that talk that shit, but they really don't. They not carrying firearms. They not shooters.
How your mom feel about you having a firearm? Does your mom have a firearm? Is your mom
My
one of them
mom,
type of nigga who's like,
my mom is no, my mom is deceased,
I don't want
but
no
she,
guns in the house. This is the type of shit I come from. My grandmother, my mom used to be like, I don't want no guns in the house, Sam.
my
Right?
mom owned a gun, but she's deceased.
Oh,
So
see that's good. That's good for her. And see that's another thing. These old Democrats, they run around here, they want to advocate against the Second Amendment, but a lot of these guys, the killings in this family. Just go look at your local news. Look how many killings happen in your community. But the only time when they speak about shit is when a white man shoot up Sandy Hook, when a white man shoot up a gay club, when a white man come inside of a fucking church. That's when they want to speak about the Second Amendment. We need our own shit. We need police officers in our own communities. They don't want you to do for yourself. We need to do for ourselves. We need to start setting fucking examples. And
I agree with that, but at the same time, we understand that we need these things. So the point is we got to stop talking, right? So how do we imply these things? And to make sure that these people, that black people that we're putting back into the communities, they're not going to be, easily led astray. You understand? They're going to stick to the program, which is, as far as police officers, to protect and serve. Like, seriously, how do we manifest this? Because we keep talking about it. Oh, we need to get firearms. Again, one, I'm just going to say like this. I don't think everybody needs to have a firearm. Cuz just because on paper they're not labeled crazy doesn't mean that they not fucking crazy. You understand what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you're saying put more, we need our own, police in our neighborhoods. I do agree with that.
Mhm.
But then how do we do that?
Well, we have
Easy,
to see.
easy.
This is the
Stop the
reason
no
why.
snitching rule. Stop the fucking no snitching rule. You got to
Well,
get on to on these street niggas. That's where it starts off at. I honestly agree because the trend, first of all, the trend got to stop. You got a lot of these motherfucking rappers on these videos and shit. They want to come to the hood. They want to do these videos and shit in the hood in front of their Lamborghini. Talk about how the hood got respect for them, how they get all of the bitches. Next thing you know, they at they fucking $2-3 million house in the outskirts and shit.
Let me let
Right?
me
Nothing going on in the community with them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start with that. You
let
gotta
me
start with the no snitching rule. When something happens in your community, the other communities, the way they operate, if a rape happens in their community or a murder happens in the community, they speak up. With us, it's no snitching. Oh shit, it's no, you can't snitch on him. So it gives more leverage for these motherfuckers to go out and do whatever they want to do. The
now
neighborhoods need to stand up.
let me let me say this, Sam. Let me say this, because what you saying, you make some good points, but I feel like it delves a little deeper than that. As far as you know, the street cats and all of that. First of all, we need to talk about what creates the street dude. What makes a dude go out and do what he do? For some people, they may say it should be no reason, but as as we all know, everybody's not the same. Everybody's not going to respond to situations and circumstances in their life the same way. But the problem is the system, because the system is what creates the conditions for people for the most part. So
Right.
if a guy is growing up in poverty and in an impoverished environment, because you could grow up poor but live around people that got money. But picture growing up poor and everybody's poor.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to make a person be more drawn to going out and committing crime. And you can look at that through all other ethnicities of people too. Look at
Yeah.
the early mob movies. Like look at mobsters. You know, them guys, they started out as kids doing low-level criminal shit because they had to commit crimes to eat. Like to eat food. They had to go and steal. They had to beat people up and take their money. They had to pickpocket people. They had to snatch pocketbooks to
Mm-hmm.
eat.
Mm-hmm.
And
But see that's
for,
that trend. That
for a
goes to that
long
trend.
time, and for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, what they did was they used those things as a way to demonize black men. When at the end of the day, all these guys were doing was just trying to survive, just like any other group of people, man. The criminal element is always gonna exist in a society when you have the people who are in control of the system are criminals, and they profit off of criminality. So the criminal element is always going to be there. So we're never going to fully get rid of the criminal element ever. That's always going to exist in any society. And
No,
you
the
could go
criminal
back in
element can
history as far
definitely
as you
go.
want, and you're going to always find criminals.
The,
That's just
the
what it is.
the criminal element can, there's several ways to get rid of it. You know what, you're right about that. You know, like we all know about the issues, you know, but I'll tell you one thing. You brought up the past, you brought up the mobsters, you brought up the Italianos, right, the La Costa Nostra, right. So going back to them, you know, back in those days, you know, black people, they were bootleggers, you know. And even with that, like black people, we focus more on education. We used to ostracize the thugs and the criminals, you know. And even back then, like some of those thugs and those criminals, they weren't as bad as it was now. Hold up, man. Let- Hold up. You're talking, man. Let me say this, right? So, I mean, all the way up through the civil rights movement, you know, we would run those types of men out of the neighborhood. The women had more black men to choose from. Oh, there's a doctor, you know, who I'm dating tomorrow. There's a lawyer I'm dating tomorrow, you know. But without economics, without money in the community, it's just like, you know, you go to any city, you go to Pittsburgh, you know, the steel mill. Once the steel mill closed down, or even Detroit, when the motor industry closed down and they outsourced their businesses to other places, the white people who were able to leave, they left. They moved to the outskirts. They moved to other places. Black people didn't have anywhere to go. Without that, you had the small businesses. They ran, you know, they ran out of fucking revenue to even pay their employees. So then you got the crime. Crime turns to poverty. You know, next thing you know, you got people shooting each other on the street to survive. Yeah, that is very, very true. But at the same time, what the
Okay.
fuck? But at the same
Okay.
time, man, the
All right.
trends got to go. We've turned this shit into a trend. We've turned being aggressive, being hyper masculine men. We turned it into a fucking trend, man. You know, so the thing is, like, basically these types of niggas who you guys have problems with, these types of men who cause this negative reputation amongst white supremacy, they gotta go. They gotta fucking go. Like, I mean, if you gotta move to DeSoto, Texas, where black people are prominent, where, you know, the crime is low because, you know, there's not too many black people, so they have a higher rate of black productivity. Go. I mean, I've told this to street niggas out here, like, look, you know what? You guys want to keep this shit alive? Productive black men like myself, we moving the fuck out. No, we not going to the outskirts. We're gonna build our own community. And we not fucking with y'all. And when they talk about y'all on the news, we gonna separate ourselves. We gonna tell them, look, we not y'all. You know, the news, you can guys can talk about them, but we're not y'all. And then it was like, oh no, well, man, I mean, you can't do that. We all black, man. We supposed to stick together for each other. Oh, you mean to tell me you supposed to stick up for each other now? You can fuck up and do whatever you want to do, but I'm supposed to stick up for you no matter what. And I'm telling you the solution. We need to stop focusing on what the problem is. We know it's systematic. We know this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I won't go too.
And you know, based on what you just said, part of you know what basically keeps what you're saying going is the fact that the system basically markets and promotes the dysfunction. So that's why you see it constantly being perpetuated, because they promote it as something being good and they make
Most
money
definitely.
from it. They
Most
turn our behaviors into things that are profitable.
Most
and
But
and,
but see,
definitely.
and
but
we
see, here's the
continue to
problem.
fall for it.
But
They
here's the
think it's
problem.
cool to wear skinny jeans and pants off their ass. But when it's time to get to the money, yeah, they know how to go and make their money. Go look at any fucking race. Go look at these fucking these kids, the way they dress when they try to look cool, the way they act when they try to look cool. They want to be fucking black males.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
They want to
That's
be
Super
us,
Trend.
but they don't want to live the life. It's cool. It's go anywhere across the world. They love black men. They love the swag of black men. We need to get that fucking trend to somebody else. Let them have it. Let us get our shit together.
But
Well,
see, but see, the problem is that like when we say they promote negativity and they do this and they do that, but we
It
have to take
de-educates us.
we have to take some accountability ourselves because we have uh, various constituencies with large platforms, access to media, who have the studios and things like that to actually put out content for the collective. And the content they put out is not necessarily positive. Yet we
Mm-hmm.
still buy into that content. We want to see movies with us acting a fool. We want to see, World Star Hip Hop. We want to see the Grand Report. We want to see these things. We want to see this imagery because this is what we too are conditioned to associate with
Boy, my boy Q.
collective. And so when we have to look at it from the perspective that when we have people uh, who have platforms, we have to hold them accountable to actually put out content because that's all when we talk about supremacy in essence is marketing. So you have access to media, you can actually market specific demographics and whatever like you so choose. So you could like if you're not necessarily for blacks, you can portray them in a light that makes a negative stigma associated with them. So that now you have a reputation that precedes you. So now that person, now that particular group is out of the picture as far as competition is concerned because nobody respects them from a business acumen standpoint. You see what I'm saying? So now you're a permanent underclass. They're out of the way, so you don't have to worry about them at all because you already put forth that negative marketing that now people don't
Hmm.
respect them as a whole. So, but that's why we have to take control of our media platforms and put out the imagery that we want to resonate worldwide. And we have
Indeed.
the opportunity to do that now, but we have to hold content creators accountable.
Yeah, niggas got to know what they good at or whatever. If you go be a street nigga, you can't be out here just getting knocked out by a motherfucker named Keon and shit like that. Saying you the hardest nigga on YouTube and shit. Come on, man. Niggas gotta know what they're good at, man. If you with that world star shit, man, be with that world. Well, he got the world star knockout, but if you're gonna be with that world star shit, be with that world star shit, man. Be good at what you're good at, man. Some niggas the streets ain't for them. You know, niggas gotta go work at Metro PCS or Walmart or somewhere else. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, me and
Q,
Real
man.
what's
Life,
going
we
on,
was
Q?
talking about a lot of this shit, man. Me and Shorty, we was just talking about how these motherfucking how these YouTube motherfuckers move. A lot of them they on here for the money. They on here to line their pockets. They got issues. They can actually see what the issues are in the community, but they're mad because the shit don't benefit them because they not getting Sequanda. They're not getting Sardina. They get on these YouTube videos and they want to talk about black female fuckery, or they got these large ass panels and they on there like, yo, baby girl, when you gonna let me touch that booty? When like, or you got motherfuckers on here who got this persona where it's like, yeah, these fucking black females, they ain't shit, they always want to wear weave, but there's a reason why these motherfucking women wear weave. Because we don't control our own media. We don't have fucking jobs and shit where these women are going and they like, look, baby girl, we don't need you with that weave in here. You can go ahead and wear your cornrows.
Right, but see,
We
let
don't
me,
have media to the
Right.
point
I
where these
gotta
black women
interject on
could
that.
fucking go
yeah, let
out
me, let,
Yeah.
and be normal. We don't
Nah.
fucking set the
let me, let
standard.
me, let me, let me,
No.
go
Right.
ahead, BK. Go ahead, you chime in first, bro. Go ahead.
First of all, so much is unpacked in all of those situations you just went through. I was just
Mm-hmm.
waiting. As far as us, poverty is an issue, and most of the poverty that we're in is not even dictated by us or acclimated by us. We've got redlining. We have all kind of reasons. That's why
Yeah.
you're in a place in Texas where there is no crime because all those policies are not there to hold you back. You guys don't
Exactly.
realize how much money we have amongst us as black folks, how much money We get jaywalking tickets. We get smoking weed tickets. We pay more money for our cars. We pay more interest rate for. We pay so much more for everything. We don't have nothing left. Okay, what we need is more professionals and less athletes and rappers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want to stop some of this stuff and flip some of this business around, we got to get people and let them. There was a time when I grew up. I'm an older dude. When I grew up, your mother didn't let you deal with no fucking dude off the street. Your mother wanted you more so in the squares. You watch the old good times and stuff like that. You see, they didn't want you dealing with the little hoodlum dude on the street. But in the '80s, when crack came and money became prevalent, mothers started saying, "Well, it's okay, baby," because that guy was buying mommy a car. All that stuff changed then.
Yeah.
Okay, so then our whole
And you
focus
guys have made it
changed
cool.
from the square. Hold on. Our focus changed from the square business upstanding guy who's trying to be prominent and doing something positive to any dude who had money. Any dude who had money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if and the mother gonna run that. If the mother in the '80s is, I see video. There's a video floating around. I don't know where it is of the women in '85. They interviewed a whole bunch of young black women. And know what they all were saying? If I get pregnant, I ain't even worried about it. He don't want to be the father, ain't no thing. I just go on welfare and get me a home.
Yeah, I saw that
This
on
is where a lot
Hezekiah
of that.
News.
This is where a lot of this stuff comes from. When
Yeah.
we talking about this stuff, you have to always walk backwards. You know, even those gangsters and stuff who were poor and they learned how to hustle and do these things because they came up cutthroat, like Sheep said, in the street. When they came into business, they walked in the office and took care of business.
Yeah.
Our problem is we stopped at the fucking rap videos. That's what
Mm-hmm.
we stopped at. We got a little bit of money, a little bit of prominence. Everybody got a little bit of room to move, and then nothing else changed. Now I do see it changing. Most people don't want to. And the other thing I want to speak about was some of these movies.
It's because of the
Us as
hardship.
older, us as older black men, intelligent dudes who can speak, because I mentor. You have to look at most of these movies and you start breaking these movies down. Even I don't even really care for Tyler Perry, but his movies usually have an underlying message. All the Negroes miss it.
Mm-hmm.
All they want is a fuckery in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even the slave movies. Oh, why we always watching slave movies, always desecrating us. Each one of them has a story in those movies, and you have to sit down and have a discussion on what the premise of that movie was. Do you think Nate Parker spent all his time making a movie to show you in chains?
Hmm.
There's a point to that movie, and if you sit around and you don't take enough time out to think yourself through and actually analyze something, have a mind. Stop worrying about how much weed you're gonna get every week and how much jewelry you're gonna get in the new Jordans. Have a fucking mind. Take a minute to research and study something. You know, take if you put that in perspective with some of the things you got going on, you'll see things in a broader range. I live in a state where you can have a gun. You don't even need a license. Okay, you need a license to conceal. You don't need a license to carry.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, I grew up in Brooklyn. I carried the banger, biscuit, heat, whatever the fuck you want to call it back in the day. It had a many
Mm-hmm.
names. I got down here and I was lost because I could carry one legally. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I went and got one. And I'm gonna tell you, we walk around the Walmart down here, we walk around the Target, we walk through. There's certain places you can go, but most places you can go, and we don't have no motherfucking problems with arms being carried. Okay? Because I got one, he got one, he got one. They don't know who else got one. So they ain't finna pull too much bullshit. And most of us ain't really got time to worry about that shit. We ain't even got time to worry about it. You know,
Right.
we too busy trying to get money. You know, not money on you or off of you, but our own money. In the hood, we so usually stepping on each other in the hood, you know, to get money. Money by any means. If you say the word money to somebody in the hood, they just start smiling. Like, what the fuck you smiling for? Yo, I'm saying though, trying to get that bag. What bag you talking about? What's a bag? I'm saying though, no, you ain't said nothing. You talking in anonymous. Tell me what you're talking about. Be specific. And they can't even be specific. They can't even be specific. They don't know where the bag coming from and how to get it. Okay, I'm gonna give you the bag. What you gonna do with it? Ask the average person. If you hit the lotto, what you gonna do? Man, I'm gonna quit working and go off somewhere. That's not the answer. That's what's wrong with us. I tell
Yeah,
people all
we
the time, if
see.
I was to hit the lotto, I'm gonna open me a business. I'm gonna put a few people on something. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
open a business and try to hire some people. So I can eat, they can continue to eat too. Maybe they can become better than me. But this is how you're supposed to do things. You bring your people with you. You bring your
Yeah.
people with you. And I'm talking about the ones you know you need to bring with you, because we know some, like any race. If you get enough around enough races, you will see there are bullshit in every race.
Mm-hmm.
Period. There's some of us we could take with us. There's some of us we got to leave at the bus stop.
Yeah,
I see you around.
it's all gonna boil back to the money, man. It's all boils back to economics.
But we
Q,
have
you
to
want to
understand
chime
how
in?
much money they're taking us. They're taking so much money
I
from
do.
Hey,
us. We don't even pay attention.
y'all let Q
I,
chime in real quick.
hey, I greetings to everybody on the panel.
What's going
The
on?
gentleman with the Thor hammer, I 100% agree with him. We but and immediately, the two things that we have control over is where and how we spend our money and what we teach and instill into our children. I'm a
Exactly.
firm believer that you have to raise your children to want to have a better life, right? So, I have a daughter, right? And so I raised my daughter. Of course, she's a young lady now, but I raised her on how to pick a good dude. Now she still may go out there and do some bullshit, right? But it won't be because she wasn't taught. So we have to teach our children how to pick a good, and we have to raise our children from when they're small to be a mate, a good husband, and a good wife to someone when that time comes. That has to be you have to be raised with that. You can't expect to get that from Oprah or Tyler Perry movies. And we bring a lot of that into our relationships, and we're trying to figure it out as we go, right? Because a lot of shit we don't get taught. The other thing is this right here. I agree with the guy with the hammer. I don't know his name, no disrespect, but I agree with you. It is simple. Where we put our money, who we allow in our neighborhoods. We have no business with Asian people, with anybody else other than folks that look like us running stores, running anything economic in our neighborhoods. Our money comes in and it goes right back out into other people's pockets. When they sell those businesses, they won't even sell them to us because they have to within their culture offer those businesses once it gets in their hands to another person of that culture, another Arab, another Asian. We put our money in the black church. We need to demand that the churches buy property within 10 miles of every direction of that church. Then you control who comes in your neighborhood and who does not. You have the ability to hire your own people. We should be growing our own food. We're going to have to uh, create our own distribution base, just like the Asians do. They don't buy anything within the United States but gasoline, and they pay taxes. That's all they do within here. They got their own trucks that deliver everything to their own businesses. We have the money. It's not like we don't have the money. We just spend it in other ways.
Yeah, yeah.
With the salute. This is not rocket science. It's not hard. We started small, right? I
Mm-hmm.
know sheep stay sleep. I know he want a hotel. Well, maybe I start a company that does construction. You know what I mean? We need to support each other in small numbers. It only takes for one small group of dudes to come up, and you're not gonna have to try to convince folks to do shit. They're gonna come find you. You know, I worked for a long time in a field where a lot of people that knew me, they knew the type of money I made. I didn't have to go find them saying, "Hey, y'all need to do this." No, they came and found me. They said, "I want to make money like you do. What do you do?" I told them. Many of them, the first thing they said, "I can't do that. I can't learn all that math. I can't learn all that physics." Okay, well, you don't want the money. You need to go find something else that you're comfortable with, right? But the bottom line is, just like the gentleman said, some of us are gonna go to the promised land together, others are not. We need private communities. We have everything within our race to come up out of this.
Let me
Whether
ask
you
you a
want
question,
to, man.
man. Let me
Yes.
ask all you guys a question, man. Like what sent you over to Black YouTube? Like, how did you run up on Black YouTube?
I was looking for um okay, so I got this philosophy, right? I was looking for I was working in corporate America and I needed some stuff. I needed to
Mm-hmm.
learn some more things about computers. But because I was black, they was giving me the runaround, right? So, I didn't get the classes like the white boys did. So I came on YouTube to find the knowledge, right? I'm all about getting exhausting the free stuff and then pay for the rest out of your pocket. So I came on YouTube looking for free knowledge. In the midst of that, you know how you are searching through stuff and you just find other things in the midst of looking. And that's how I found these other channels.
Thank you. Thank you. I had that argument with somebody else, and I told this person, I'm like, the people who come to Black YouTube, they all came here looking for answers. You don't just run up on no shit like this. The average
But
person, the average black person, they watching some rap video. Some of them watching some how to do shit, but you got to really be searching for answers for you to come here.
right. But the thing is, the answers are there.
Hmm.
The answers are there. The other gentleman named Super Trias, I've been following his channel for a while, but he said something that respectfully I disagree with. African people don't like us. The first thing they do is they differentiate themselves from data. I am not black. That's the first thing. No, listen, nobody wants to roll with us, and that's cool. We
Only
used to
when it benefits them.
only
Only
when they
when
bet.
when
That
they
is
want to look
absolutely
cool.
correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
And when it
let me ask
benefits
you this
them, it's
though.
still some shit in the game for us. Listen, we don't have no friends. Let's swallow that and move forward.
Motherfuckers ain't watching with you.
Let me ask
You
you
know
this.
what I'm
Nobody
saying?
Let
Like
fucking
me
with
ask
me.
you this real quick.
well, Black Lives Matter. You seen Africans out there? Fuck no.
No,
Well,
All
let
no.
right.
me ask you this
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
Super Triz. Go
Let
ahead,
me ask
Super
you this real
Triz.
quick. How is that? How is that disagreeing with me? I agree with you 100%. I know they don't like us. Now, there are obviously, I mean, any group there's going to have some quote unquote sympathizers that that may rock with you, but for the most part, no, they don't. I think I've said that to a certain degree that even being here where I'm at in Washington, right? There's a large African population out here. We have some West Africans, but we have a lot of East Africans. East Africans don't rock with us at all. Period. And then you got some West Africans that a couple of them that may rock with us, but most of them don't rock with us at all. And then if it comes down to us or them, they're gonna pick their group before they pick us. And that's even the ones that do rock with us gonna pick their group before they pick us. So I'm definitely not oblivious to that fact that we're basically on our own. That's the reason why I said that you know we can't we can't be fractured and expect to actually invoke change. We can't be fractured because we don't have the numbers to be fractured and invoke change. Now we can prosper and find ways to work within the system that surround us. Like myself, for instance, if nothing comes of the government in a way that will benefit the black collective, I will still be successful regardless because I found ways to maneuver. But if we want to actually change the system to where there's an actual even playing field or something that resembles an even playing field, we're going to have to find common ground and find ways to come together, even though we have all of our differences within the different factions of the black community. We have to find common grounds to come together and say, okay, we need to push for this particular agenda on this next election cycle and say, this is what we want for our community because we can't do it alone. We just don't have that presence and we don't have a compelling factor from a financial standpoint if we're not together on one accord. And so that's when I say, like, okay, even though Africans don't rock with us, they still kind of look like us. There may be some parallels in some of the experiences they may have. So even though we don't really want to rock with them or may not rock with them for whatever reason, it's advantageous to us for a short period of time to say, okay, listen, y'all do y'all thing over there, we do our thing over here, but look, we need to come together on this and pull our finances together, pull our collective bargaining power together, and then we can say, okay, now that we got what we want, now you can go back over to your sector, I'll go back over to my sector, and we'll meet back up again in the next 4 years when we got to make another change. You see what I'm saying? That
I
that that
I,
that,
I
that that's just that's what I call compromise and just doing things from a business standpoint.
I just want to say I agree with Super Triz because I think I said this last week on a hangout that we need to learn how to network with other people of color in other countries. And the reason why I think that we need to do that is because okay, yeah, we're here, we're Americans, but at the same point in time, there's money to be gotten all around this world. You understand? And there's black people everywhere. And it's everybody isn't fucked up, basically. You have people in Africa who are making money, and no, they're not scammers, but they're making money. They're into certain things that allows them to be wealthy. So why is it that we're just going with the whole thing of, oh, African people don't like us, so basically, forget them? Why isn't it that we're sitting down and we're having conversations, we're networking? What are you into? Well, I do this. How can we work together? Well, where it would benefit not only you, but it would benefit me over here. You understand? And I also feel like we keep looking to the system. And I understand that we're under white supremacy, but at the same point in time, being that we understand that, why are we still looking to change anything in this system? I
because
always
this is where
hear
because
here.
this is where we live.
Because
I
This is this is
understand that
the
this is
system
where we
governs
live.
us.
yeah,
I
this is where
understand
we
that.
live, and we don't have a homeland. That's
But
why. If we
listen,
had a
hold
homeland,
on, let
this
me
would be easy.
finish. What I'm trying to say is this. If you pay attention to history, we should all know history. Up until now, the system is not working for us. We always say, let's get people in there that will work for us. Everybody thought they had the dream when Obama went in there, and it did not work for us.
Because
So
Obama
why
is not
people,
black. Obama is
hold on,
Kenyan
I know,
American. Obama
hold
does
on,
not
let
come
me,
from slave ancestry. This
but
is
hold
why.
on, let me finish my thought because I feel the same way. But that doesn't mean that tons of black people felt the opposite way. A lot of black people felt he was the great black hope, and just he was going to make everything great. He was going to work for the black people, which made no sense. He's the president of America, not of black people. You understand what I'm saying? And my thought, and my opinion is this. I feel also a lot of what Q said, I felt he was correct in what he was saying. We need It all comes back down to networking with like-minded people. Everybody talking
Yes.
about the whole
There
black
you
community. You
there
cannot
you go.
save the whole black community. If you know
Yeah.
that you want better for your family and you get with people who want better for their family, you may be in a certain career, they're in a certain career. Maybe you two could come together and decide to build something together. I also feel black people are visual. We need to see something going on. All that talking, a lot of times, is not going to work. We need to see something going on. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a
Yeah.
lot of things that needs to be combined in order for some of us to be okay. But I still don't think every black person is going to be okay. I don't believe all black people are going to come together. That's just not what it is at this point in time. So
Yeah.
That's why them
Definitely,
other
man.
niggas need to be
Definitely.
ostracized. Somebody just brought up Tyler Perry, right? Um, my thing is with Tyler Perry, for some reason, it just seems to me like his movies just show some bitter old black woman and shit. You know, Diary of a Mad Black Woman or some shit. And the guy's always treating her like shit. Mama D coming out, oh girl, you can do better. You can get a better man and all of this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It just shows black men as being like insignificant and competent and aggressive and shit. I mean, a lot of these movies they just give us a bad reputation. You
I,
know,
I think
but
I think all Tyler Perry did was sell us our narrative back to us, and
That's
mhm.
it.
he
Mirror.
used he used our people and employed our people to help us look at ourselves. That's really what he did.
I agree.
That's
Facts.
really
You don't represent all of
that's
us,
really
man.
what he did.
Or even with the Diary of a Mad Black Woman, it's like here this black guy. I mean, he was kind of pompous on the movie and shit. You know, the one with who was that Taraji Henson, and the guy ended up going out with another woman, and then he ended up paralyzed and shit, and she
Nah,
ended up
that's
leaving
like
him
that's
for
like a movie with Taraji. What's her name?
or the Color Girls for Color Girls. Where the guy was just so aggressive, he threw his kids out the window. Like, who the fuck does that?
A
It's
lot
just,
that happens, bro.
It
That
happened.
happens.
you know what I'm
That
saying?
happens.
Like,
That happens, bro. That happens,
it's
my
just
man.
over
That does
exaggerated.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She
it,
throw
it, it
kids out a
happens.
window.
just like how he depicted in the other movie, how you could stay down with a person, and then when you feel like you done came up, you leave them and move on and think the grass is green on the other side. All of that stuff, man,
Oh,
we
yeah.
go through. And I think that's why, and Super Triz was talking about this earlier about media. One thing that we must do, and I've talked about it before. I think the job of, guys like me, younger guys, we have to redefine cool. We have to redefine what cool is to the next generation. So what we do, we have to make it look cool. So a lot of the things that we saying we should stop doing, we we shouldn't stop doing it. We just gotta redirect the energy. Like,
Yeah. You
for
got to make that
instance,
money.
guys,
You got to
guys
show these
shouldn't.
kids that you're making money.
Right, exactly. So
You got to
I don't
show
if
know,
them that
if
you're
man. This
making
if I
money.
want
generation kind of
if I
lame to
want the
me.
youth, if I want the young boys to listen to me, and I'm talking some real shit, what's gonna make them listen to me and act on what I'm saying is I might have a big chain on. And
Yeah.
they
So you
might
got to
be like,
rap.
"Oh, all right, I believe what
Hey,
he's
you
saying.
kind of sound like Rick
He
Ross,
eating."
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
You
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 got
kind of
you
have
got
to
sound
to
like Rick
have
have
that
Ross. I
moment
those.
think
where
you can
you
pull it
drive
off,
down the
man.
street and they're
You
like,
have
"That's
to.
my car."
You have to have those little trinkets that'll make you more believable to these kids. And
Yeah.
that's the way we can redefine cool. That's what Jay-Z been doing for the longest. Like, with all of this whole 444 thing. Now he has made being financially literate cool to black men. Where before we didn't even think about being financially literate unless we went to college for business.
Well, Sheep,
Yeah.
I want to say this. That is that is defined by where you decide to put your money, what you
Right,
decide to what you decide to spend your money on. All of that's dictated by that. That's
right,
the
but
that you are sharing the decision. I decided to spend my money here. That's
right,
what
but
that's what decides that.
right. But see, what I'm saying is before you make that decision, you must have a different mindset before you even can say I'm gonna put my money in something progressive.
Correct.
A lot of our people,
That's
our
right.
mindset is not in a progressive state. We're more into staying stagnant and being comfortable.
Well,
That's
Yeah.
our
Like
now,
mindset
now,
consumers.
for the most
Yeah.
part.
We're like
So when I
consumers, not
say
producers.
yeah,
right,
well,
so when I say redefine cool, once we do that, then we'll put our money in the right places
but
so we can be
it's not a
Yeah,
progressive.
secret
like
anymore.
you kind of sound like Rick Ross. So I think if you do a little rapping, I think you'll make you. I think you'll do it, man.
You you you
Yeah. You get that
you know
chain and
something?
everything, bro.
You
Like,
know something? I listen to Grinch. Grinch and Kevin. Kevin always says, "Show your work,"
That's right.
and I think some of the show your work is a little bit it's a little bit unbalanced because some people's work is not going to be other people's work. Some people's work is going to be two Benzes in the garage and a certain size house. Some people's work is just going to be stability. I got
yeah,
3 kids I raised. They all going to college. I'm doing that. That's my work. Okay,
yeah.
I'm talking to other young men. I have guys who come around me and they go, "Hey, such. How often you see me sitting out here in front of the house, just whatever?" Well, not that you know where. Well, I'm at work. That's how I got this car and I got that and I do this and I do that. That's how I do it. You want to do the same? You should do the same. That's me showing my work. My work may not be extravagant to some people, okay, but my thing in my life is to survive and to make sure my kids are on a level above me. If I'm putting my kids a level above me, then I'm showing my work. And we have to be able to show that to young kids because young kids today, I watched a thing on TV today. Uh, It was something about university. I think it was EMCC, and they were showing the guys' last chances. And most of these guys are great football players, but most of them do not want to go to class. They ain't never been told to go to class, and they don't know nothing else. You talk to them, all they talk about is football. We got to get people to learn to talk, do something else, to have something else, because football only 5 year span. Most kids are not told that when they're young.
You know
They
what
all
dictates
thinking,
that, sir? You know what dictates that? I am a firm believer that your children will do what you do. If you want your kids to have a business, you need to have one. They don't do what you say, they do what you do. If I want my
Yeah,
daughter to have a
that's true.
business, I need to have a business.
Well,
If
send her to school for a business.
Yeah, but
That's all.
I need to have one. I need to
True,
let your children do what
true.
you do.
Some of us can't. Some of us ain't got the means. Some of us ain't got the time. Some of us is we got 30, 40 years in the post office. They ain't finna walk out the post office and go start a business. But you could put your kids in school and make sure your kids get a business and tell them you ain't got this grind like I did. I grind the way I did to make sure you don't have to. I want you to grind differently so your kids can grind differently. See, we have to always not step on the other guy all the time. Yeah, it's nice to start up high, but most of us can't start up that high all the time. We got to start someplace and build a foundation and then work our way up. Let somebody stand on your shoulders. All my kids stand on my shoulders. So my shoulders got to be broad and strong. No matter what I'm doing. I don't care if I'm selling hot dogs. Okay? But my daughter roll up in her Benz or she roll up in her new car. It ain't got to be a Benz. And it's her business. Because I got my oldest daughter does hair. I'm putting her in the business right now. We're getting her license together so she can start doing her own. And I got a 3-year plan to have her in her own shop. My
Mm-hmm.
next baby girl,
There
she
you
going to
go.
school this year. She going to college. She's going for
Hmm.
business finance. Okay? My son is 14. He ain't got out of nowhere yet, but I'm working on him to see what it is he likes. So far, it seems to be computers, which was my background. So we're going to build a computer this summer. Okay? Now, my job is completely different from all they're doing. I done had businesses. They see me have little businesses here and there and do this. They've come and gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to make sure they can do something different. And they see how comfortable I am. And I let them know I'm comfortable.
And they stay in the
You
same
could be
house with you
more
guys,
comfortable.
right?
Say again?
They stay in the same house with you guys, right?
With my
It's not.
kids?
Yeah.
My oldest is grown. She lives by herself.
All right. All right. But your
And then
kids
my
stay with
baby
you,
girl
right?
is, they grew up with me, yeah.
All right. And even the brother inside the car, inside the SUV, right there. Your kids might be grown as well, but they grew up in the same household with you, right?
Yes and no. My daughter's mother is deceased, so I had to take her and raise her. So
Oh
she's
wow.
with me. She's been with me now for 6 years. So
Wow.
I've been trying to pour as much of me into her and
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts about business and engineering and the things that I do as I can. But once again, I try to demonstrate to her what I want her to do
Yeah.
because I'm a firm believer that your children do what they do, not what you say, they do what you do.
Hey,
Yeah.
Pete, man, I'm gonna catch you later. Yeah, I'm gonna be in the chat with her, but I'm gonna catch you later with her. All right.
Okay.
All right,
All
bro.
right, brother.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Um,
ain't
You
gonna
know.
be on
let
here
me
for too long as
let me
well,
I'll
just
see
but
if I
let me
come back
just say
on
this.
here.
All right, no doubt, Sam. I appreciate you coming through, man. Um, let me just say this real quick. As far as what you was touching on, BK. How I look at it, I separate leadership. I think you have material leaders. That's what you was describing. The guy with the 2-car garage with the big house, with the jury and all that. You have material leaders, and then you have thought leaders, and they must work in cahoots. They must work in cohesion because that's what's going to get people to move. You need the mindset, and then you need the guys who actually did the work and have the results to show for it. Because at the end of the day, black people, we love nice shit. And there's nothing wrong with loving nice shit. But we got to have nice shit with a better mindset. You see what I'm saying? So we need both. We need the material leaders to show the young boys, listen, you can attain this, but then you need the thought leaders to say, well, listen, you want to attain that, but you want to do it with this method. You see what I'm saying? The material leaders is just the example to say, if this is what you want, you can attain it, but you need to have a certain mindset. So I think the material leaders and the thought leaders need to work together. And once that happens, man, everything that we touching on, I think it'll come together. It'll come together like a puzzle. But we all gotta understand our roles and our positions and play them and just be effective. Like Super Triz said, if anything, man, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know your position, just don't be a burden on other black people. Don't be a problem. If you don't know what to do, stay out the way. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree, and
I
that
agree.
would actually help your kids as well because another component is peer pressure as well. Just because you're raising your kids doesn't stop them from understanding how the world works around them, especially with their peers as well. So that then you got that aspect of them being like, well, Dad, you may have been raised this way, you may have said all of these for me, but I still have to go my own way, and this is what's cool. So all of that shit has to change, man, for your kids, not just what goes on inside of the house, but outside as well. So it should be
Well,
community first. You should always focus on your community first, family as well. Like, family and community should be like hand in hand, but individuality should be third, and that's how we act. I got this. I got more money than you. Oh, look at my car. Look at my chain. This is how we are, and that shit needs to change. Collectively, it needs to change.
yeah, you're supposed to have it as a result,
Right.
not just as a showcase. And, I agree with what Sheep said. The question I have is the thought guys. I don't think they have much of a problem of anything. Do you think those guys and the material guys can actually get together? Do you see those guys getting together in a little space like here on Black YouTube?
I think yeah. In a lot of ways, yeah. I think for the most part, a lot of the guys who have, like, from what I see, I'm gonna just speak on the manosphere. As far as the manosphere, a lot of the guys who have the material things, they are thinking black men. They are men who have, like, they're the fusion. Like, they're the balance already. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Super Triz don't drive a nice car because he's a professional. And I feel like that's what we got to teach our youth. Like, yeah, you could drive an Aston Martin because as a professional, you should be driving a good car. If you work and you earn that, why not have that? But you shouldn't be driving it as a kingpin. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Someone is going to have to demonstrate the model. Someone is going to have to demonstrate that the model works. Couple of guys and a couple of women are going to have to demonstrate that the model works, and they're going to have to come back and talk about it.
The
That might
model also needs to be promoted. It needs to be
Yeah,
promoted through black
that's what I
media.
mean. That's what I
mm-hmm,
mean by coming
mm-hmm,
back and talking about it. It might be me and Super Triz. It might be me, you, Super Triz, and Sheep Stay Sleep. Somebody is going to have to come back and show, hey, we made a million. In 2 years, in 3 years, we made a million. But you're going to have to do it quiet, like a gangster. And when it's over, you come back. You don't talk about it while you're doing it. You talk about it once it's done and say, look, we did this. It works. Somebody is going to have to demonstrate the model. Then we need one more person, one more small group, two or three, to demonstrate that the model works. After that, it's got momentum. Just like a dance, right? Somebody comes out with a cool dance, couple of people do it, somebody say, I like that, I'm going to do it. And then it starts to replicate itself. One person has to move forward and demonstrate that this can be done.
I agree. I agree.
And then people will come find you. I guarantee you, Sheep, if you got on here tomorrow and say I got with Super Triz, and we just want to make an announcement that we came up with a model. We've been doing this for the past 9 months. We made a milli. I guarantee you, your inbox is gonna blow the hell up. You
man,
don't you don't
you
even have to
right,
give your information out. People are gonna come find you.
right, right, man. You exactly right because you see that now with the everybody's selling credit repair.
That's right.
True.
So
Yeah.
you right, man. They put them pictures up with people. Oh, I just bought this house and I just bought this new car and I just got my credit fixed 6 months ago and my credit score went up and this person Instagram can fix your credit. You right. You right, man. You absolutely correct.
And then what happens is once you all demonstrate that the model works, take one person. and bring them up too. And that person is going to tell 10 other people.
Yep, yep. That's exactly how it works, man. But I totally agree, man. I agree with everybody.
I
You
got a
know,
problem with that shit though. I can't lie to you. I got a problem with that shit. Like bringing motherfuckers with you, cause I feel like this, man. If a motherfucker is not in the trenches and they don't agree with the plan while the plan is being worked, nigga,
then
don't come
don't
at
bring
me.
them.
Yeah,
Then
don't
don't
come at
bring
me
them, man.
once the
Don't
shit
bring
is
them.
done.
Don't bring them.
Like the chicken story. You know the fucking little chicklets. They didn't want to help the chicken, like batter the flour and put water in the flour or put the cake in the oven. But when that fucking cake was done, everybody wanted to sit down and get a piece. Oh hell no! That chicken told the little chicklets, no, you didn't help me with this. Your fucking ass is not getting none of this fucking cake. You
Nah,
know, so
see,
they gotta
I
be
know
with you
what
from
you
the beginning.
I I understand your sentiments, Sam. What you basically saying is, don't just go and grab anybody.
Yeah.
Grab people who are qualified. And that's what I think, that's the consensus on this panel, that you don't just go back and grab anybody. You go and grab people who are qualified. You go, like, for instance, if me and BK started a construction company out in Brooklyn, I'm not gonna just go to anybody and just go get anybody. We first have to go out and find the skilled guys first. The mechanics, the electricians, the engineers, the architects. We gotta go and find those people first before we go find the goddamn laborers who just gonna sweep up. So
True
you
that.
don't have to worry
True that.
about those guys, Sam. Those guys come a dime a dozen. Stop worrying about them.
Oh
Sheep,
yeah, I mean, I don't.
sheep.
In
I'm about
Columbus,
to
South.
get off.
Okay,
I'm
go ahead,
going in the
shorty.
hangout.
All right.
Me in the chat.
All right, no problem. Thanks for coming on, Mika.
No problem.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know exactly how it is. Dealing with contractors up here, it's the same situation where a lot of them, a lot of guys in the street, they wanted to come and be a part of the job, but they did not want to do the work. They were like, "Come on, brother, hook me up." And my homeboy, who's a contractor, he had a problem with that. He's like, "Man, I'm about to start hiring these white guys because they willing to do the work. They don't mind doing the work and shit." A lot of these guys was like, "Well, shoot, whenever y'all need some help, give me a call," but then y'all don't want to come around and do the work. Or some of them, who talk to a lot of these rappers, and they're like, man, when you blow up, man, I want to be right there with you. I want to be right there on the video with you, but you don't support these guys while they're trying to sell their CDs out of their car. So I mean, that's how niggas are. That's why I tell them all, like, if they're not with you from the bottom up, don't fuck with them. Some of
But
them niggas got to go.
we can attribute that to years of counterproductive marketing and media portrayals.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at imagery of blacks in the media, who do we have to look up to that actually is doing real life work? Now there are people out there, obviously people of color, that are doing work, but we don't see them in the media. We don't see them portrayed in movies. We don't see them on the news. We don't see them in TV shows. And so the
Because
youth
that's going
coming
to
up,
cause a lot of black people to start emulating them, and they don't want that. It's against their agenda. Same thing with the music that's out here. It de-educates. Back in like the late '80s,
Let him
early
finish,
'90s,
though,
music
Sam.
had lyrics.
Let him finish his spill, bro.
Go ahead,
well,
man.
and it's just like, again, you have to make certain things look cool, like Sheep Stay Sleep TV said. Like I remember growing up, right, and I would be in school, and we would have discussions in the classroom. You almost didn't want to raise your hand because the black people will laugh at you. Oh, you a nerd. You think you know everything. You see what I'm saying? So you're automatically conditioned. So and then you see it. You see these young rappers, right? And they go on these radio shows and they have interviews. They can't even speak publicly because it starts from a young age. Being able to have a civil discourse in a public venue, they can't do it. This is the reason why you have the music now is so watered down and there is no lyrical content to it because these people they haven't developed those skills because it was cool to be dumb, to sit in the back of the classroom, laugh and joke all day, act like you have sleep, act like you don't care, act like you dumb, act like you don't know the answer. That was cool. But see, we have the opportunity now. Well, we had the opportunity. Now we got changes coming down the YouTube pipeline. They're getting rid of the hangouts. They're slowly but surely transitioning into a YouTube Red model, which is similar to Netflix. So it's going to push out the smaller content creators, and people are going to get more mainstream with their content because now it's like, okay, we got to change our business model to reflect how YouTube is changing. So we got to put out more fuckery type content because that's what draws the biggest crowd.
Well,
And so then it
I
just
don't agree
Yep.
with
perpetuates
that.
itself.
Nah,
I, I
we
don't
don't have to do
I
that.
don't agree with that.
We don't have to do that.
We have over 100 black colleges. You mean to tell me with all the computer science departments that we have in all these black colleges, we can't build our own YouTube?
Yeah,
Well,
but
You
let me have
have
that conversation with you. Let me have that conversation with you. I had this conversation on, I want to say it was BGS Ibmore's platform. This was like maybe about 3-4 months ago. It was BGS Ibmore, it was myself, and it was Bitter. I think it was Bitter Truth and Bitter Truth Show, and we were talking about a black platform, and they brought up Black Spot TV, Black Junction, and Black Avenger TV. And what I was saying was that Black YouTube content creators should begin to transition their audiences to these other platforms. Oh, and they barked on me. It can't be done. We've tried it before. They're not going to come with you. They're going to stay on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to convey the message that because the reason why they didn't transition because they were not incentivized. I was looking at it from a different approach where we either take an existing platform, augment it, or create a new platform. And the way to do it was through an actual Google Hangouts type interface where now you have your own YouTube, your own Google Hangouts that was created by black people, your own version of Google Hangouts that does pretty much the same thing, add some additional features into it. But then what you do is you have that actual Google Hangouts type software encoder. That's what a Hangouts is a software encoder. Is you take that software encoder where it simultaneously transmits to not only YouTube, but then you transmit to say a Black Avenger TV. So now
That's
content
that's
you have
that's what the
content
issue
going to that
is.
other channel at the same time. So now,
That that
go on. What are you
they're
gonna
not
say?
gonna let you do that. They're not. That's what I was trying to remember. That's what the conflict was. It wasn't that you couldn't do it. Okay, the conflict was YouTube was gonna have a problem with that shit,
But here's the
and they're
thing.
gonna cut that. They're gonna cut that out as fact because we went through this kind of before. I'm trying to think of what were we doing? Cause we was I think Angry Man was going like 2 or 3 platforms at a time, and they did something to him about it. I think it was Angry Man was doing it that way. He was mirroring it somewhere else, and he was having a problem getting it mirrored. And then YouTube did something, and I don't remember what. And I know that stopped.
But see, a lot of times what people do is they'll you have to simultaneously stream from the software encoder. If you mirror it, then it's a terms of use violation. That's the problem. That's what I was trying to tell him. You can't mirror because it's a term because you're using content from YouTube on another platform. But if you stream it directly from the encoder source, that's your own intellectual property. Once it actually uploaded into YouTube, then it becomes YouTube intellectual property. That's the reason why you simultaneously stream to do different platforms. Some from the software encoder, it's a legal loophole to circumvent the terms of use violation agreement.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely correct.
yeah, yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
Michael M. I forget his last name is. He does that because he has a couple of things open when he does his show. So he actually does do that. Across different platforms. The only issue with it is how do you incentivize the people to go to the other platform?
But see, the incentive should be that listen, we're trying to do something for
Not
us.
what it should be. Not what it should be. How you gonna do it?
You create a pay-per-view business model, and you build some other things into it too. If you build it, they will come. because they're not gonna have a choice.
Tell me about this pay-per-view business model. Because you're talking
Well,
about people
well,
actually. You're
you have
talking about people
okay.
paying for something they're getting for free now. So, well,
Yes,
supposedly for free.
you have a free aspect of it, just like you do YouTube. You build inside of this this Google Hangout alternative, like Super Tria said. You take it, you build with an open source. You as an open source
Right.
project. You build that,
Okay.
but you also build into it all the other things. You build into it the Patreon. You build into it the pay-per-view. You build into it the streaming service as you go. And there you go. I mean, I don't have all the
I
answers, but what I will
no,
tell
no,
you,
no, no. That's good. My background is computer science, computer security. So I haven't done it in a
okay,
long time because I've been doing
okay,
something else. So I'm just not getting back to it, and I'm
yes,
actually studying code right now.
okay,
I wasn't asking to be descending. I'm asking because I want to know y'all perspectives on that, so I can try to look in and see how those things could tie into each other
yes,
in that way.
But here's the thing, right? Part of the problem, and now I understand exactly what you mean, because we live, especially in a society, but I'm talking about the black community. We want immediate gratification and immediate return on the investment. So we
Right.
look at what is the actual yield right now, as opposed to if we make this sacrifice now, look what we'll have in the long run. But nobody thinks like that, obviously. So there has to be some type of immediate incentive for people to actually do that
You know
bilateral.
something.
What's that?
You know something, man. We got to stay away from that right there because that's not true.
Mm.
It's true on a collective, but I
Yeah.
mean on a whole. But
Collective.
we need to I was talking to I was going back and forth with BGS, not going back and forth, but having a conversation with him, and I tried to explain that his core audience, because he was talking about leaving, he has a very small core audience. All these people that's around him, that's aggravating him and doing shit like that, those people are actually not his audience. Like us guys on this panel right now, right? We are probably all 100 in on what we're talking about right now. Then we need to do that. Stop. The rest of them will come as we cut the path, but we can't worry about we have to go out there and just do it, and then we got to try to bring it back. But we got a lot of talented people in here. We got mouthpieces that can sell almost anything. So then we need to start doing that and not worry about all of them coming. Just get enough people to come and get it to be consistent. It'll grow itself once that happens. But we got to look at it small, because most of the people on here they're not. I just donated. You know why I donated? Because I like the conversation for one. But I noticed nobody did anything tonight. Like nothing. That was no real nothing. But the point of it is just to try to show something. Do this. Go that way. Do that. I did this. You can do that. Do that. And I like y'all dudes on here, but the dudes I'm talking to on here right now are the guys I think need to take that to the next step.
yes. Somebody has to demonstrate the model.
Well,
I still say that somebody has to demonstrate the model.
Well, I've been talking to my cousin. Like I've been trying to get this up and running for months. I brought it to Bitter Truth through BGS, and they basically, I don't think they were really understanding the angle I was trying to come from. I wasn't trying to come from the actual platform. I was trying to come from the software and coding angle, and then the incentivization would be the inclusion of features that are currently not available on Google Hangouts, such as a lower thirds, an actual a scrolling advertisement that can go across the bottom or the top. Also, I was going to put in, like a ability to put a timer on each individual's personal interface, so you wouldn't see it on a live stream, but on my own personal device, I would see a timer as I'm speaking, so that way it can keep the conversation going. And I'll put an ability to instead of using like a blog talk radio, you have an ability to send a temporary link, so that way people can join the conversation from the chat, and then their link would expire, and then they'll go on and you can call the next person up instead of having to use blog talk radio. So I was trying to incentivize by creating some additional features, and I was trying to talk to my cousin. He lives in Riverside, so he lives right next to UCR, and so I was trying to get him to talk to people at UCR and get some computer programmers and then Maximus. I don't know if you guys know what familiar with Maximum Black
Yes.
codes in Python. So I was
Yeah.
trying
Right.
to get some people to reverse engineer Google
Hmm.
Hangouts to actually cut down on the actual R&D aspect of it. So you reverse engineer Google Hangouts, Mandycam, and OBS, and now you have the code. And so now when you have a code, a platform to start with, so you're not starting from ground zero. Use what we already have, dismantle the code, and pick and pull the things that you actually need, the framework, and then add on to that framework and put in additional features. So that way it incentivizes content creators to utilize that software encoder. That was my angle.
Shit.
Mm,
So
very
even
strategic.
so even when that's done,
Damn.
you're gonna need a person. You're gonna need a marketing group to go out there and let people know it exists, right? Which
Yes.
is it's not gonna be difficult. But I agree with you with that. So
Well,
uh
part of the marketing was to get some of the larger content creators. And
yes,
There you go.
hold on for
There
a
you
second.
go.
Now, please don't shoot me down when I say this, because I know some of y'all
no,
gonna have an issue.
no.
But I was gonna say we give it to Phil the Advice Show, give it to Tommy Sotomayor, give it to Obsidian,
Right,
give it to Angry Man, give it to BGS, give it to the big content creators. Nyla says,
right.
and then once we give it to them, and then people see the features, then that's going to be the marketing right there,
I
and then you
agree
can
with
have
that.
an additional marketing
I
on top
agree
of
too.
that.
I
I
agree with
agree
that.
too.
I
I agree
100
too.
I 100% agree.
Yeah,
Word.
those where
So
the eyes
so
are. So yeah.
so okay, is it okay if I ask a question to you?
Yeah.
Is does I'm thinking about getting to the time to get to market. Does it make more sense to let the Indians build this, or
That's what we were doing. That's why we was at UCR. My cousin was trying to network with Indians at UCR because they're
okay,
the ones that's in the computer programming,
okay,
and so we were trying to get some of them. And we're talking about mainland Indians because you got Indians from all over, but the
so
computer programs are mainland Indians.
I there's a company called Brain Bench that I'm getting ready to work with to build an app for me
Hmm.
for the iPhone. So that's a name for you. I work with another guy that's an entrepreneur. He has a patent on a whole different device of another type, right? So but he's not technical. So I'm trying to bring his invention to market. But they for their coding, they used a company called I think it's called Brain Bench. Um, I'm looking at my notebook right here, but they are an Indian company. They have a presence in California also, and I think that's the right name. But while you guys are talking, I'm going to verify it, right? So they are an Indian company. If you don't already have one, I don't have. I have not contacted them yet. But the guy that has his invention has used them for his code for his invention, and they are pleased with them. And these are black people I'm working with too. This inventor. So that's a possibility for the people that could build this hangout alternative.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking at. I mean, I would prefer to work with somebody within the community, but really just to get the actual framework up and running, I'm willing
Yes.
to work with anybody, and I'm not a technical person at all. I just conceptualize certain things, and then I want to put some money behind it. But as far as me
Okay.
like actually programming, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to do none of that. I don't know
Okay.
what's actually possible and all that stuff.
Well, I'm technical. I'm technical. I worked for Cisco for like 15 years. So in IT and mechanical engineering. So uh, I have some of the answers that you may want.
Yeah, and I think this is especially pertinent now since Google Hangouts is going away, and I've already seen some alternatives begin to pop up. People are using Zoom. They're using this other program that's a browser-based type of Hangouts type thing, but none of them have the additional features. They're pretty much watered down versions of Google Hangouts. So, like, I'm trying to add some additional features to it that really would innovate because I'm looking at how because I sat back and I observed how the like for instance the Sunday Rumble things like that, and I start thinking like, okay, what are some ways that we can improve Sunday Rumbles? What are some of the ways we can improve, Phil the Advice Show? Because Phil the Advice Show, he has like his regular Phil the Advice Show. Then he has a show where he has people call in. And I was like, well, how can we improve on that process? And so this is the reason why I want to include some of these features that I don't think nobody's really trying to include these features in there because they're not really concerned with quote unquote Black YouTube. They're not looking at what Black YouTube is doing. So, but I think again, Blacks have historically been the innovators, and I think that if we actually introduce this functionality into the software encoder, and then other groups, because believe it or not, other groups are watching Black YouTube, and they see us using that functionality, then they're going to want to invest in it as well.
Okay. It's not Brain Bench. I'm trying to find it for you. I'm listening to you, though. I'm listening to the point that you're making.
Yeah, it's a damn good point. It's a damn good point. Then I got to get up off of this damn thing. Hey, DS1 Sheep.
What's good, BK?
Man, I gotta bounce, man.
Yeah, I
I
appreciate
gotta
you, guys.
ride out in the morning, man. But I enjoyed this right here. I'll be back.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, man. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
gotta
man.
bounce up off here too because I'm at work right now, so I
Yeah,
gotta.
I know, man. You've been going in too, Super Trez. I appreciate you coming through, man. I'm gonna end the show real soon, so I appreciate you guys, man.
Hey,
Okay.
All right,
we need to
man.
do a follow up sheet. We need to do a
Yep.
follow up though. We
Yep.
definitely got to
Definitely.
follow up on it because I think that this is what we should be doing. Not just complaining. We need to actually be coming up with some solutions and try to get that shit into action. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
I appreciate y'all being patient with me. I'll holler at you on the next one.
All right,
All
Okay.
peace,
right,
bro.
man.
All right.
Peace.
So Sheep, do you know how to get in touch with Super Triz when I find this answer for him? It's actually in my phone, so I'd have to get off to go through my messages, and I want to get this name to him if he
Um,
decides to move forward, or if he has
um,
a channel, I'll leave it for him on this channel.
yeah, just if you still listening, Super Trez, just type in the chat room so Q could get your channel. But what you could do, Q, if you on your cell phone, when you log off, just go back into the Hangout app and just
Okay.
go into the conversation and just type it in the back chat.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because
drop.
I,
I'm
I
gonna
I
drop it
wanted
off.
to I
Mhm.
wanted to know the name of it too because I was just looking at Brain Bench and I'm like, I know that's not what the brother talking about.
No, it's a different name. I have it in my in my messages from the guy that I'm working with.
Right, right. So yeah, that's all you have to do. That's all
Okay.
you have to do. Just go back into the active hangout or the last hangout that we're in now and
Yeah.
just type the name in there and he'll see it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm dropping off, brother. Thank you
All
for
right,
allowing
bro.
me
I
to.
appreciate you for coming through, man.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Man, that was great, man. That was some heat. I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to the mods for holding it down. You know, we'll be back, this Saturday coming, you know, God's willing. We will be having a Saturday night live. I definitely had to bring this Sunday night heat to y'all. I appreciate everybody who jumped on the panel and brought the heat. This is a great conversation. These is conversations I love to have, man. And we're gonna keep this going over here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. At the end of the day, that's what we're about. So shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to all the supporters. That's monetarily and just coming through and blessing the chat room. Shout out to everybody who listening. I appreciate y'all. We will be back tomorrow right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. So on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. Y'all have a good night. I'm your host, DS1 Ross of Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Remember, y'all, we gotta heal before we build. We gotta heal before we build. Remember, healing and building is two action words. So let's get it done, y'all. Let's get to it. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.